Welcome back to Visited by Voices Live, and apparently my inability to unmute the microphone properly. We are joined today for our community chat. We'll be discussing some bad remakes. When I made the list for the remakes that I felt had surpassed the originals, I quickly came up with 7 titles and got stuck. When I made the list of the remakes that were worthy but not superior, it was a little bit tougher, but I still came up with, almost a dozen titles. For bad remakes, off the top of my head, I came up with 41. So that's where we're at. I have a panel that's all just filing in and joining us. But first up on the show, we have Al from Russia, Suspiria, Zodiac Killer from Russia. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, man. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. What's going on today? Just backyarding?
Backyarding, man. On your show, horror movies, beer. What could be better?
Well, dancing women?
Yes.
Give me a moment.
Wait, let me come second.
They'll show up.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, we'll keep in touch with you. Make sure we'll see how the progress goes there. Also, I am joined by Griffin. Griffin, how are you, sir? You're muted, but now you're not.
Hello, doing well. How are you all doing?
I'm good. Now you're the polar opposite. Whereas, yes, we can. While Al is out in the sunlight, you are in pitch darkness.
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
He's haunted.
We're all haunted here.
He's superstitious.
It sounds like it's some 2 metal bands got together for a tour. All right. I'm also joined by a member of the saucy community, Mr. Steak Sauce. How are you, sir?
Steaky. Iris.
What is going on?
Oh, very little.
Very little.
I
expect more of you.
I woke up early for this. I hope you know.
It's worth it.
Woke up early the day. So you'll be back to sleep within a half hour of us being done today.
Most likely, yeah.
He's gonna fall asleep during the show.
Depending on how long we run. I do actually, I have access again to dancing girls.
Well, Al needs them. Send them over. Send him to St. Petersburg, Philadelphia, where he lives.
Moscow.
I'm also joined today by the world's greatest lover, Mr. Monty.
Yes.
Oh, Monty, what's up, brother?
In the house, fellas. I also got up early as well, Mr. Lauren.
Wow, I'm like an alarm clock these days.
Yeah.
That's my new primary function is to wake your asses up.
Exactly.
Saturday horror matinees in the house.
All right. And I'm also joined by 2 gentlemen who don't need much introduction, Mr. Piz and Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy, what's up, buddy?
Hello. Hey, Jeremy.
Hello. You like Johnny Bravo?
I don't even know who Johnny Bravo is.
Never heard of
him. So Jeremy,
Chicken. Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
This is a very different episode than I envisioned.
Jeremy's talking my language.
90s horror matinee.
We're going to talk about remakes today, Bob.
Remakes.
Your least favorite remakes.
Pet Sematary.
Okay. Me too, Jeremy. Me too, buddy.
Wait till they
Jeremy,
come around.
Jeremy, have you ever had nitro tackies?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes.
Do they burn right?
Yes.
Awesome. So I will be snacking on
Mortal Kombat.
I know what
Sub-Zero
Mortal Kombat is.
wins.
I've never played Mortal Kombat. But I'm going to be
Lauren, you
snagging
never
on
played
those.
Mortal Kombat?
Lauren's more of a Pong guy.
I'm more of a Donkey Kong and Dig Dug
Would
type
love
of
it,
guy.
man.
Jeremy
I love
Jeremy
it.
loves Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong rules.
I like Donkey Kong
So we have one more panelist at the moment. Again, it's someone who shouldn't need much introduction.
Oh,
Good afternoon, Mr. Orc. Did I wake you up as well?
Worky.
What up, homies? How's it hanging?
what
Orc
up,
doesn't
homie?
sleep, he waits.
Did you get him
How's it
Cheers
going?
to you, Orc.
He cocoons.
Hello.
He-
Yeah, I'm running on Duncan. Yeah.
You should be drinking beer, Orc. Not Dunkin'. You should be drinking beer.
I don't
Hey,
think he should
yo.
be.
Where's the
If I want to go
Frosty?
completely ham sandwich, this is all you need right here. Bam.
Rain. Which that's the
Ooh.
sour apple?
Sour apple. Oh, it's like ultra paradise.
You watch The Rockin' Dead.
Russian and tan. Well,
Jeremy,
not tan.
This
I
thing
have
is
a
actually
question
as
for
big as
Jeremy.
my head.
Say hi to Orc.
Cut or
Hi,
you
Jeremy.
like
What's
The
up?
Rockin' Dead.
Well,
Jeremy, Chris, I have a question for Jeremy.
You like you watch the Three Stooges.
I used
he's
to,
all of the students.
no BS. I used to watch the Three Stooges every Saturday and Sunday morning when I used to show.
Woo!
Everyone.
I'm Larry. Orc is Shemp, and Lauren's Mo.
Hey,
Johnson.
Leave him alone. Yeah.
I have a
Oh,
question.
white guy.
I need to know this because I have a Mortal Kombat poster for Mortal Kombat 9 when it got released. I'm gonna say probably. Hang on, that was
You
like
like Futurama.
What year did Mortal
Futurama's
Kombat
good.
get released?
Mortal Kombat 9 came out.
1992.
He knows his stuff. Mortal
Yeah, good
Kombat 9
job,
came
Jeremy.
out 11 years ago.
You
I have a
like
question.
Futurama.
I do like Futurama. Futurama's pro.
This has turned into the
Bro.
Orc and Jeremy show.
yeah.
All right.
I'm
No,
comfortable with
here's the question I gotta ask. I got a poster right here. I got the DLC Aftermath.
More
Jeremy.
cloudy swacks. More.
No, it's all good, dude. But Jeremy, what are your two favorite Mortal Kombat characters of all time?
Scorpion.
Scorpion? Gotta pick somebody
Sub-Zero. Liu Kang.
Classic.
Raiden.
Fire Nice. Fire
Sonya
Nice.
Blade.
He likes all the
He can name them all out. Bam, bam, bam. I love it.
he likes the legacy characters.
Yeah, he likes the OG characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ice-T's in that game? He is the original gangster.
You like the Loud House.
I don't think nobody here knows what the Loud House is, Bubba. Let Lauren introduce, okay?
Pet Cemetery.
Use your inside voice.
Pet Cemetery.
You know, Jeremy, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live this life again. So, guys, this is the panel for now. If anyone else joins us who's not watching pornography, we will we'll add them to the show. We last week decided to try and rejoin, I believe, but had a very different set of entertainment choices for today. So he will not be joining us. He or she, I shouldn't assume, right? You know, it's 2020. No assumptions.
Non-binary. You gotta get all that in there.
Goldfish.
Goldfish is slash.
Orc, eat real goldfish. Eat goldfish.
Yeah, really.
Real
You
goldfish.
saw it
Orc.
chapter 2.
No.
No, not chapter 2. Chapter 2.
Chapter 2 is terrific. It's just fun.
Oh, no. Chapter 2, downhill, like, no way.
From moment one. All right, so guys, before we get started, I want to showcase a little bit of what I did this morning. I literally got out of my car, got back home, used the restroom, and came up here and started grabbing you guys to get on the air because I had to do a little bit of traveling today to a magical land known as Allentown, Pennsylvania. And we all know that in lockdown across the country, you can't have horror conventions, right?
Right.
Yep.
Kind of sucks, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is what a horror convention in 2020 looks like today.
Looks like a flea market.
Oh,
Wow,
that's
that's
great.
Looks like a fair.
It is a flea market. It is.
Reminds me of Freddy's Dead, the fair in Freddy's Dead.
It
Wow.
is the horror convention. It's the horror sideshow flea market, which is presented by the same fine folks who give us the New Jersey Horror Convention.
Yeah. The Glow Mania guy is going to be there today.
Oh, well, he wasn't when I was there,
no?
or at least I didn't know.
Okay. Well, he was supposed to be there.
Felicity Rose was there from Sleepaway Camp, but I don't know.
She is hot.
Yes, she's
She's
nice.
really nice. Yeah, she's really nice.
You
Good
watch
looking, too.
Turner Classic Movies.
No,
They rock.
I don't watch it. I just have it beamed straight into my head. It comes in right there.
What do you think of Felissa Rose, Bubba? What movie was she in?
Who?
What? You know,
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
not quite. Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp.
Same plot. I mean,
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
You like Buffy the
Same
Vampire
plot.
Slayer.
Who doesn't love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Bubba? Lauren loves Buffy. He's a
But-
That's
Buffy's
so
got-
not true. Billy Joel and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What can I do? So that's a private joke. No
Xena
one's gonna
Warrior
understand.
Princess.
I've seen some Xena Warrior Princess. It was very 90s television. So it was good to be able to do some horror shopping, for real. I picked up myself up a little Cthulhu. Look at him. He's going to go on
Nice.
my bookshelf.
Oh, wow.
He's going to be used as a bookend to all my Lovecraft Arkham House editions. So I think he's pretty cool, right?
Oh no, he's awesome.
I also, talked to a few filmmakers and a few writers while I was there. Maybe some of that will eventually make its way over to the show. But it was nice just to be among the community out there, the people. And I got to tell you, one thing I'm noticing more and more. It used to be we'd go to these shows and it was like one woman for every 35 men.
yes.
It's like 1-to-1 now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the population dynamics, because I know that like right now in America, like the population is almost like 59% female now. That's real. So maybe it's just kind of like how it should be in the horror genre finally. I don't know. But this broadcast is not a good representation of that, clearly.
How was the smell?
I don't have a sense of smell.
Hey, that's
I
a
don't.
plus. That's a plus at a horror convention.
Well, no, but the thing is, it was outdoors. It wasn't overly attended. There was supposed to be social distancing, though I saw none of that.
Yeah, they say that everywhere.
Horror masks at every table. Every vendor had them, without fail. And there would. It's funny because you walk up to one and they like had their Friday 13th mask, and it would be like ridiculously bad drawing. And you like the table over would be this like really high def photo pulled from the films that looked great, and people were buying the cheap ones.
I have a question. What time did it open?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
11 o'clock. It looks like they're doing some business. Don't get me wrong. It's only going to be open for 7 hours today, but it was just nice to see something happen. I did talk to the guys from New Jersey HorrorCon, and they are committed to making the March date happen.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It should be.
They're saying they have not had pushback from guests, but they do have plans if they do. So
Are you going to go, Lauren, in March?
I intend to.
Okay, I guess I'll see you there. Steak, are you going?
We'll see.
I know everybody else is far. That's why I'm not,
I mean, listen, yeah, I'd like to get down there.
I know you guys are close, right
Yeah.
around me. So, are you close, Monte, to New Jersey?
I'm in Columbus, so I can still try to make it out there because
Yeah,
hey,
That's not crazy.
I'm an adventurer.
Yeah. Piz, you plan on stopping by, Piz?
It just kind of depends, I guess.
On the guest list?
About time.
More or less. Yeah.
I hear you, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. They've not had any pushback yet, I think is what we probably should say. If we get into January and February and it's the same as now,
The older folks
Ah,
can't do it.
pushback.
It all hinges
Yeah.
on November.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
To answer that question, yes, I did watch Friday 13th, the final chapter at the drive-in last night.
Oh
Nice.
man, how was that, Lauren?
The print was a little dark and it was being projected with some cropping that was not correct. So if I'm nitpicking, there's things I could nitpick.
Right.
I was just overjoyed to be watching Friday the 13th final chapter again among the horror community in the open air, projected as big as a side of a barn. There's nothing I can say that I can nitpick, but you want to know what? I don't care.
Right. Right.
It was a whole lot of fun. I was with some friends. We were having some bad drive-in food and having a ball.
You're not mentioning the best part, and that's a performance from Ari Lehman.
I was getting there.
Oh,
That's what you should have led with. That's the best part.
Yeah, there was a live performance by Harry Lehman.
Nice.
And his quote unquote band.
First Jason, yeah.
So if you're a big Keytar fan,
Oof.
Greatest instrument ever, right there.
Is he actually good?
He can play it.
Oh, okay.
the microphones were loud.
Okay. So it was good.
Yeah. So the best thing, I don't mean to be mean about this, but the funniest thing about this is all horror fans that drove, like I did, an hour and 20 minutes, probably minimum for most people, to go see a film that they own.
Right.
That's been out for 40 years. This is the audience for him, right? I mean, this is it. It was like golf claps between songs.
Listen, bad music is bad music.
Listen, I don't want to rag, but I mean, it was a full set. It was an hour of him.
I'm a bad guy. I'll rag all fucking day long.
Was Tim Capello there? Been in the cave.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
But yeah, so I mean, if anyone's out in PA in the Philadelphia area, there's one person that is next to me.
As a matter of fact, AMC at Neshaminy, October 4th, they're gonna have they're re-releasing the original Friday 13th, so I intend to get tickets for that.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll check that
so,
out.
So that'll be cool, seeing it in the theaters,
Yeah.
the original.
But what I would say is just I had a lot of fun, and it really wasn't even about watching. I will tell you that, unfortunately, for the first time, I noticed how choppy the second half of that movie is. It really plays just as good as I always remembered it until it gets to the third act when it starts killing the kids in the house, and then it's just kind of like murder sequences one after another without any narrative at all until Trish and Rob show up, and then they bring the plot back. And I don't know what it is, but I'd never really noticed it about the movie that it kind of probably needed a little bit of space to make that work, because Jason is just everywhere he needs to be in a very short period of time, which is a little bit crazy. I think the film still works because the mood and atmosphere gets over all that. But one thing about seeing these classic films on the big screen is you see them differently.
I think that movie was too well written to be a slasher movie. And like Barney Cohen realized in the third act, wait a minute, I got to start killing these people. So let's just start wiping them out one after another. So,
and they're all great scenes.
Yeah.
The problem with Friday, the final chapter, is everything's great about it.
Yeah.
Everything's great about it.
I agree.
But when you look at it a little bit, pull yourself a little bit back, you're like, it does get to the point where they just don't know what to do, so they're killing off kids in special effects, which is whatever. I mean, that's kind of what we're showing up for. But at the same time, it's just the film is operating at a high level, especially for a slasher film, period, let alone, what should have been a phoned-in sequel. So, whatever. It's still my second favorite Friday,
I just love hearing Ted White deal with Corey Feldman on Crystal Lake Memories.
Mean little devil.
He's like that little piece of shit. I hate him so much.
I wanted to give him a good spanking.
You know what I love? Whenever people
I'd have drowned him in the lake if I had the chance.
Yeah.
When people talk about Friday final chapter,
They're like Ted.
No one tells Ted to shut up ever.
Yeah, he's pretty gangster.
He's in his mid-90s and he can take all of us out at once.
Yep.
Yeah, he does not care.
Doesn't
He's
matter.
awesome.
A man from a different age.
Yeah.
But when people talk about the movie, they always talk, oh, well, Julie Arneson had to go in the freezing cold water and Ted stood up for her. No one ever says, well, yeah, Peter Barton had to go for a swim in water just as cold, wearing underwear. Like, no one, it's always just Julie that they're concerned about. It's like, he's not that important.
Oh, man. Can you imagine what happened to him?
Oh, you God.
I mean, goodness, man. I mean, them boys were like, just squeezed all together.
They probably retracted back into his body.
Yeah.
Dude, they had to. They had the ADR his scream at the end because it would have been like, oh!
Yeah. Do it like Prince. Do a Prince scream. Well, that's close.
Would it be inappropriate to have Jeremy sing "Darling Nikki" for us?
Darling Nikki. Do you know "Darling
you know
Nikki"?
that song?
Darling Nikki.
Do you know that song?
Yes.
All right, sing it for us, please.
Darling Nikki.
There you go. That's all you get. That's all you get for free.
Well, that's okay because we're gonna get kicked off for YouTube if he actually did it anyway.
You like Phineas and Ferb.
I have no idea what that is.
Lauren's an old guy. He don't like cartoons, Bubba.
I always want. So, Jeremy, here's the deal. I always wanted Tom to eat Jerry. That's who I am.
See, Jeremy does too.
That's cool. That's cool. And you know that Roadrunner should have been put on a spit and barbecued for Wile E. Coyote.
Don't forget Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
Too late. I don't like that stuff.
You idiot.
I don't like the goofy stuff. I like it when it was kind of mean spirited. Cartoons should be mean spirited.
Beavis
All
and
right,
Butthead.
Pinky in the brain. All right, come on. Brass tacks.
Yeah, but you had to deal with the rest of the Animaniacs around them.
I hate Animaniacs.
The only thing cool about Animaniacs that was really cool is that they'd always sneak in these little jabs at Spielberg in his own show. If you watch it closely, it's like there's even an episode where they kind of bring up the Toby Hooper thing, and it's like no kid thought that was funny or even got it.
Well, they throw a whole bunch of adult shit in there too. Like it's just like they used to make cartoons so that the parents could actually sit through it and deal with it. You know, it'd be a little something for them.
It's so sad to this day that I still know every
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill,
yeah.
That's a great one, Jeremy.
Bobby.
I know you love The Simpsons, don't you, Jeremy?
Family Guy.
No.
American Dad.
Ah.
I still remember one of the first Family Guy episodes. It was like, I think 12 years ago. And no, it was like 20 years ago, I think. And it was the one where Stewie goes to kill Bin Laden, I think. Yeah, remember? Like way back. This is like when Eddie Murphy was on the PJs and the cartoon. Yeah, way back.
I forgot about the PJ.
Rescue Rangers. What do you say?
Nobody knows that, Bubba. Nobody knows that. That's
all right.
Really weird cartoon.
When there's danger.
Move on from cartoons, Bubba.
We're almost half hour in. Let's start talk about some remakes. That'll give us lots to laugh and yell about anyway.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna lead off. May I?
No. Why would we let you do that?
I'll do my Orchio.
We're glad to have you back. Don't get me wrong, but we're not going to let you run anything.
All right. So
remember what happened?
Spirits.
Remember what happened when, as a kid, you built that car out of that block of wood?
Yeah.
They had to call the goddamn fire department. Okay, that's not happening here.
National Guard.
Well, that was like the one guy in the National Guard that showed up.
Yeah.
No, I promise we'll get if as we go on, there's one that I don't hit, but by all means, I'll let everyone speak. I promise. But we're going to start this off with. I decided to go basically alphabetical on it. Amityville Horror 2005.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That was on TV the other night.
Does anyone remember anything about the film except for Ryan Reynolds cutting wood?
I remember the hot babysitter chick that came in, and I remember he just looked at the kid and was like, "Aren't you happy you're getting babysitted?" or something like that, like one of his puns, and that was all I remember.
I don't even remember him chopping wood in that movie, to be honest.
Yeah,
I never seen it.
Wood for like half the movie.
I don't remember anything about that movie.
Yeah, I never seen it, Lauren.
It was. I mean, I remember it being okay. I rented it from Blockbusters back in the day, but I just remember it was around that time when Texas Chainsaw and Michael Bay was doing The Hitcher and all those. I just remember Ryan Reynolds looking like he had stepped out of Blade Trinity because he still had the same beard and everything. That's about. And who's that other chick?
I don't know.
Yeah,
you know how the Dimension logo would come across the screen? You know, as like everyone like Scream nowadays. I have the box set. I think. Wait, where is it? Right back there. Just right there. I can't. There we go. But like
so
the Dimension
anyone wants
logo.
to break it and steal it, that's where it is.
Melissa George played his
$5
wife in that movie.
But
well, that makes sense.
The Dimension logo, like Lauren was mentioning, once the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in what 2003. It was like all I have embedded in my brain from with all the horror remakes is Platinum Dunes. That logo coming across the screen. It's kind of like Blumhouse, like once Insidious came out. But yeah, I remember a lot of insects, and then Ryan Reynolds trying to be
Incest?
scary. No,
That's in the
insects.
original. That's in part 2 of the original films.
Insects, like the bugs and the bees and stuff in the near the windows. I think was that part of that movie. I don't know.
Mouth watering, those bugs.
Was that Exorcist 2? The Heretic?
I don't know. All I know is
yes,
the locust. Yes, but like
Linda Blair on the roof of that building.
Oh, that movie's
in that dress.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
An awful film. I like that scene though.
All right, never mind. you got me.
Anyone else on Amityville? Griffin, are you still with us? Oh, there he is. Now he's really with us. Hey, how are you, sir?
Howdy.
Amityville remake.
Yeah,
it was pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Chloe Grace was in it, so she's in 2 bad remakes.
That's almost a resume piece.
I do have to agree with is it George Lutz? Killing a dog. That's bad. You don't do that.
Hey, Jess.
That was the worst part of the remake.
How's it going, everybody?
He kills the dog.
What's going on, bro?
See, I'm okay with them killing dogs. I just think if you introduce an animal, it should have the same stakes as the people. Not saying you have to kill the dog every time, but people get all worked up about fake animal death on screen, and I'm like, but fake people death is like good, right?
Yeah.
No, you need more of both. Every movie.
Well, they should definitely sacrifice a sea turtle in every movie.
Yeah. Oh.
No, I'm sorry, but like when people get more butthurt over a dog dying in John Wick than like half of a city being blown to pieces, I'm like, you're the kind of person who like doesn't care about animals more than actual people, especially if they're American.
So think about John Wick. It's a really crazy thing. Like they kill his dog, which sucks. But think about every one of the people he kills has like a family and parents and maybe kids.
They shouldn't have killed his dog.
It's a dog. Now, if it was a cat, whole different story.
Maybe his
we can
Mustang
nuke
had
entire
feelings.
continents over cats.
Yes.
Maybe his Mustang had feelings. Nobody knows.
Hey, Jess, how are you, sir? Are you frozen? Oh, wait. Are you muted? No. Jess? Does anyone know sign language?
He's just vibing. He's just straight ripping.
Hear you.
Fake Nation.
A sub sandwich.
Does someone write it down? Does someone have a Sharpie? I'll do this Wile E. Coyote style.
Are you live, Jess?
Doing good, Lauren. How you doing?
Hey!
There we go.
All right. Must be.
Now go pick
Can you hear me
that
now?
up.
What's up,
It's in the
man?
trash. I just wasted a sheet of paper. What's the problem?
I heard it hit the ground.
It hit the garbage can.
Is it working now?
It is working now.
We can
Hello?
hear you.
Loud and clear.
How are you, sir? I think he has a delay on his
Can
side.
you hear me?
We can. Can you hear us?
I'll have to check.
All right. As he works that out, let's move on to continue down the A's. How about
Can you hear me now?
Ooh, cool. April Fool's Day.
Hello?
Hello.
I seen the original, Lauren, but I didn't see the remake, so I can't say.
I made it through about 15 minutes of it, and I bailed. So bad.
It is pretty freaking awful.
Hi guys.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie!
Oh, there we go.
Jamie!
She's in the house.
Jamie.
What's up, guys?
They're just
Wonderful.
talking about why
Hello.
John Wick is justified in killing people over a dog, and that's what they're talking about.
And Lauren's throwing shit around his house. Making a real
That's every day, though. That's just an anger management issue.
Sounds fun. John Wick. Is that a remake? That's not a remake.
No, it came about because we were discussing killing the dog in Amityville horror.
Oh.
It was like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon going on. It just to let everyone out there know, if Jess can work out whatever's going on, he will be back in the stream. I didn't boot him.
Jeremy and I are going to run. We just wanted to really jump on and say hello.
Hi, Jeremy.
Say hi to Jamie.
Oh, Jamie.
Hi.
Tell everybody bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Later, Jeremy.
You rock, Jeremy.
Have a good day.
Guys.
Take care.
Peace, Jeremy. Peace, Jay.
Peace, oot, Canadian style.
Good one.
Riley
I
Cole.
just buy you something. What, did I say that out loud, or did I think it?
No, you said that out loud. It was a good way to end it.
Oh,
Sometimes-
no.
Sometimes. So I watched the April Fool's Day remake, and it felt like a made-for-television movie from the late '80s. It's pretty atrocious. It's bad.
It went directly to Blockbusters, didn't it? As I recall.
I believe that the producer was actually standing outside Blockbusters trying to give away copies,
Out the trunk of his car. I believe it.
like a mixtape from a not very good DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we got a
So
not very good DJ at the
Big
club.
McFlurry?
Gives out
Excuse
mixtapes.
me? Oh, D-Square. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm
I
sorry, you
haven't
gotta-
seen that one either.
No?
No.
Well, I don't recommend it. I heartily don't recommend you because as I get older, I'm realizing how many hours I have left to live, probably. And I sit there and I say, how much of this am I going to waste on shit like the April Fool's Day remake?
I liked the first one so much, and it's got Amy Steele and Deborah Foreman.
Yeah, the first one was good, definitely.
And the guy from Back to the Future. So I can't watch the remake because I'm gonna get mad. I just know it.
Jamie, you gotta swipe right. Just keep swiping.
Swipe right. Oh,
Yeah,
is that a
just pass.
phone thing?
Just-
That's a youngin thing.
No,
That's
it's
a
a
dating
Tinder
app
thing.
thing is what he's doing.
It's a Tinder thing, yeah. Just
I've
take
never
it.
ever online dated.
Don't ever do it, Jamie.
You'll come across people
You
like
know-
me.
The
I've been
problem
playing
is,
girls online.
the problem is
They're not worth
you end up at the restaurant, you're waiting, and a robot shows up. It's not good.
No.
Yeah, I'm celebrating my 20-year wedding anniversary this week. So I've been
Congrats.
with
Cheers to another 20 years.
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Golf club.
We've been together since 1994, so it's a long-term thing.
That's good because
Yeah, so
nowadays
I never
it's hard to
got-
find.
I never got
Someone.
to date like online because of that. I just met him in college.
Do you hold that against
That's
him?
good.
Yeah, you guys get into an argument. I never got the online date, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, no.
No, you probably just go out to like a restaurant and you're like, well, we didn't have to deal with that shit.
No.
Yeah.
Long-term
Yeah.
long-term relationships fight over things like this. Where are the rest of the light bulbs? The light in the kitchen's out. Where'd you put the light bulbs? I didn't touch them. Where did you put them? No. They're always in this cabinet. Always in this cabinet.
Who used
These
the
ones are
last
more-
bath towel without putting
That's
more
it.
in the wash, and who didn't, put their stuff out from the bathroom floor down the laundry chute, stuff like
Right.
that.
Meanwhile, you can get your significant other's car into a massive accident that totals it, and they'll be cool with you.
Yeah.
But if you don't refill the toilet paper roll, World War VIII.
Don't leave the toilet seat up.
You got the store brand grocery bags, and then you got basically Scott's toilet paper. All right, we're getting a divorce. This is the end of it. Every story ever.
Buying
You
Scott's
got the
toilet
Walmart trash
paper
bags? What?
is worth a divorce.
Uh,
shit.
yeah.
Scott's
in the
isn't
days of
even toilet
COVID.
paper. Sorry. Hey. Well, yeah, that is true.
Jess is trying to make his triumphant return here. So
That's normal. Anyway,
fingers crossed. So the next piece I have on my list is actually a twofer. Carrie 2002 and Carrie 2013.
The 2002 was television, right?
So what that was our friend Satan/Christ pretending to be Jess to try and get by me. Bye-bye.
What were they? They were playing something very risque.
Well, they were doing that before we were on the air as well.
Oh, Satan showed up today?
We're assuming.
Were you guys saying it was me last time? All right, go F yourselves. All right, how about that one?
I didn't think it was you.
That's why I put you in the stream.
I show my face, man. I'll be a little punk and I'll troll, but at least I'll be like, yo, it's me. There you go. And then you're like, here's your IP. And I'm like, oh, shit. There you go.
So speaking of menstrual blood, Carrie 2002 and 2013. We managed to get 2 remakes of this thing inside the same 11-year period. And they're working on a new one right now.
Thank God.
Oh, God.
So I love the De Palma film, the original De Palma film.
Yep.
Absolutely. So my disappointment in both the Angela Bettis thing and that kick-ass girl thing is pretty profound. It's not just unnecessary; they're an insult.
Yeah.
I didn't mind.
We got the real Jess. Hey, Jess.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me
Sorry.
now?
Yes, there was an imposter Jess a moment ago.
That was my feedback from the computer. I had the sound on. Then I didn't.
What are you watching, sir?
Difficulties.
Yeah, what are you watching? I heard some pretty risque
It's got
stuff.
a delay on the
then.
computer somehow, so the sound is.
He's watching.
Oh my God.
Oh, I don't know if we want to see the screen.
Hi, James.
Oh,
nice.
You're looking at the chat. I'm like, did I not bring someone in?
No, James is in the chat.
Hey, what's up, James?
Is he behaving out there?
Hi.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? Someone start us off. What do we think of the Carrie remakes, plural?
I liked Rage Carrie too. I thought that was good. I liked the original Carrie. That's all I can say, really. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Carrie, but I thought it was okay. I thought it was good.
I
Monty.
didn't. I liked the. That's okay. I liked the Angela Bettis one. Okay, I thought that one wasn't too bad. I like the way that it follows the book better. But it still didn't. It didn't measure up to the original, and I definitely wasn't. I didn't like the one with what's her face there from
Kick-Ass.
Yeah, that girl.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah, I just it seemed like it was an unnecessary remake, shot for shot, and I just didn't like it.
Listen, if the house isn't getting pelted by rocks from heaven, then I'm not happy. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, that happens in the book.
Yes.
And I'm very fuzzy right now. Look at that.
Yeah, thank God.
It's either that or I'm too drunk.
So
wait, hold up! I didn't notice your shirt. That's epic, Joe Bob Briggs. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Swag.
Oh, that's a badass
Swag.
shirt.
So
That's swag as shit, son.
This actually sold out of the people who actually made it legitimately, but like 7 other like bootleg shops just put it up instantly for half the price. You know, I have to admit I'm wearing a bootleg shirt, but if it had been available from the people who licensed it, I would have bought it from them.
Ben had a real problem with that for a while because he just throw the artwork on the site, so they just be like, "Oh, good, let's take it and sell it."
Yep.
It's real shitty.
But so this in a way is a remake shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we'll see how it does in the wash after a few months.
I love with posters and T-shirts when it's like multiple, like it gets like it's reprinted so many times by so many different companies. It's like we'll charge you when we ship it, and it might be like 7 or 8 months. I'm like, I could get like a robot from Japan or South Korea before I could get one of those things, you know.
Well, my thing is, I love these companies that sprout up and they're instantly like, my entire site is just made from copying stuff off DeviantArt. It's like, can you license from someone, please?
Right.
So I guess not a lot of good feelings, just not a lot of feelings at all about the Carrie remakes.
I mean, only thing I can say about the 2002, I never saw the second remake, but I saw the television version. I thought the actress did a pretty good job of kind of, you know, being fragile and humiliated and all of that. But, you know, again, just unnecessary. I thought, you know, Travolta, William Katz, Sissy Spacek, and who's the actress who played her mother in the De Palma film?
Lori Piper.
Oh, she's terrifying. She's terrifying. And I just don't feel like I don't feel like you could top that. That woman is scary.
You know what the big missed opportunity with her was? Someone needed to make a Whatever Happened to Baby Jane remake with her in it.
Oh,
good
God.
idea.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that would raise the stakes real high.
I'm not a proponent of remakes, but I'd buy that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to bother with the second version. It's just like, why?
No, it's not a complex enough story to need this many interpretations.
Yeah.
And when De Palma does it first, you're kind of done.
Well, yeah. The Hitchcock imitator himself.
When he wanted to be, but he was always transparent about that. He brought what he brought. I love De Palma.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. I love Dressed to Kill and Raising Cain. Awesome.
Yeah, Dressed to Kill is pretty phenomenal.
I love
the spiritual sequel to Carrie from De Palma, The Furies. You guys like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that film. I used to see it at the video store all the time, but never saw it.
Somewhere between Carrie and Scanners is exactly where it lands.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's good. It's really good.
It's a lot more like Scanners than Carrie, but it's
all this kind of mind bending stuff.
I always thought, you don't need to remake Scanners, but you could do it as a sequel just fine. But I always thought you just get Michael Ironside back and make him into a Bin Laden like figure as a scanner running with a scanner army as terrorists.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And someone has to go and take them on and get into the sleeper cell and go after them. I think that it writes itself. It's still relevant. But we got to do something with Michael Ironside while he's alive.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
freaking national Canadian treasure, and we can't get proper use out of the man.
Wasn't it Scanners 3 where they got that lady going, let's make it with the naked nasty? That's hilarious. I laughed so hard every time I see that.
Jamie, I just watched that on Amazon Prime the other day. I came across Scanners 3 and 2. I hadn't seen them since the 90s, and I watched them. It was fun.
Yeah.
Both those movies could have been really great. They just needed a budget that they didn't have.
Yeah, it has that Cinemax early 90s look to it. I was just enjoying myself. I was like, oh, God, here's the TNA. Yes.
Although the Scanner Cop movies, which were both, there's two of them. They were both failed pilots for a television series that could not get off the ground.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not worth really.
I just remember seeing them in the TV Guide on Cinemax when I was a kid.
Well, that's where they belonged.
Yeah.
That's where they were. That's where they probably are until this day. But so the next one I want to bring up is going to get me in trouble with you guys, but at least some of you, I think. But cat people, why? Why did we? And don't talk to me about the David Bowie's music, okay? Because I agree, brilliant. That's the only thing brilliant anywhere near that thing. They took one of the best horror films ever made and reduced it into bad 80s schlock. And I love Paul Schrader, but that sucks.
Paul Schrader.
What do you guys say about the remake? What was that, Griffin?
I think Paul Schrader's kind of the king of schlock.
Yeah. So what do you guys think, cat people? I know people love it, but I can't stand it.
I'm not a fan.
Never saw it.
I'm not a big fan of it. I remember seeing it, but it must not have gripped me because I don't remember anything about it. Literally.
Yeah, same here, Jamie. I don't remember much about it. That's how much I liked it.
Yeah.
Everything good in that movie is in Terror in the Isles. So just watch Terror in the Isles, and you've seen everything good in the Cat People remake. I mean, the original film is one of my absolute favorite films. So it had a high mountain, and it didn't go anywhere near the mountain. It parked at the base and just looked up and said, I can get a bumper sticker for my car. I'm not going to climb Mount Washington at all.
If I remember right, it didn't even seem like the same movie. Like it was a remake.
No, it doesn't.
And I remember getting it confused a lot with The Hunger for some reason.
Yes, I agree with that. I think it's the Bowie thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so not a lot to say there. Next one is one I hadn't even thought about until I was putting this list together, and I was like, people are giving me crap about calling it a remake, but I don't care. I'm going to call it a remake. Chaos. That unauthorized Last House on the Left ripoff that is just Last House on the Left with grimier special effects. Has any seen that?
I've
never seen it.
Sylvester Stallone's son was in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and the gentleman from Strangeland was in it, who played Waingro. He was in it.
Yep.
I saw a piece of it, and I thought it was awful. I just thought it was awful.
I never seen it.
I actually thought it was despicable too. Yeah, I felt dirty.
Oh, it's pretty rough. I mean, if you just want gore, it's there, but it's just it doesn't even give pornography a good name, because what it does is it looks like the production values are about that of like a Ron Popeil infomercial.
Yeah.
But then they just hired a bunch of strippers and tortured them in the woods, and then like as remotely and as dispassionate as possible tried to do the revenge plot in way too little at the end. It's really an insult not just to the original but to the audience.
It seemed like it stripped everything of, like you said, they tried to put the gore in there, but that wasn't even good. And I think they tried to add like a little subtext. If I remember, I think weren't the parents an interracial couple or something like that. I think I recall something like that, where like there was like an interracial couple, so they tried to add that in there, and that didn't even mean anything either. I was just like, why? What is this? This is trash.
It was ultimately a movie about using a buck knife to cut off a girl's nipples. That's what the movie was.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. That was man.
Oh no, the effects are impressive. It's just there's nothing to back them up. If you just want to, you can put a camera and focus it into a bucket of vomit. You can do that. There's nothing in physics that prevents you from doing that. The question is, why would you do it?
It was awful. It was awful.
Well,
it's
obviously
bad.
There was no Lakeview terrorists.
How old is this movie?
Early 2000s, somewhere in there. I didn't bother to go back and research it. I'd seen it, and the disc I think is out of the legal disc anyway, is out of print, and people pay ridiculous amounts for it. Which I can't imagine.
If I remember, Roger Ebert gave it 0 stars. I think it was Roger Ebert actually reviewed it and gave it 0 stars.
We can keep going.
Have to do it proper.
Or for showing
really?
his due, so I had to show him mine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
Hey.
Nice.
Nice.
I like that one.
Glass.
You're also rather fancy.
I love Blueberry and Frankenberry.
That is nice.
They're in stores. They hit this week. If you guys didn't know, the cereal hit this week.
Oh, get out of here.
Yep. So go to your grocery stores, find that end cap, and buy them, because they will be gone before October begins. I don't understand why they don't just put them out year round again. They're so popular, and I know it's seasonal and it's an event, but they'd survive on the marketplace. I just wish the General Mills, grew a pair.
They used to be on the shelves at all times a year. They stopped doing that for some weird reason.
Yeah, back in the day.
Count Chocula, that was the one that.
What years was that active? I'm really intrigued.
Oh, that was
the Count Chocula year
80s.
It ended about
70s,
92, somewhere in there.
80s.
Yeah,
I was born in 88. Damn it.
No.
I mean, and people don't realize. I mean, more people are realizing because of the merchandising, but the Fruity Mummy Yummy and Fruit Brute were part of the lineup.
Yep. I remember
they never overlapped. There was never a time when all 5 were in production simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a couple of years ago, I think they released them all one year, but the fruity, the ones you just mentioned, they didn't. They sat on the shelves.
But they were reformulated. They tasted nothing like they originally did. We have another panelist to add to the group. Everyone, please bow your head in respect for the great Christian Hannah Horror.
Oh, the man is in the house.
What's up, people?
What's up, Chris?
What's up, man?
It's good to see you safe, Christian Hand Horror.
What's up? Is that Orc?
That is
Yo,
Orc.
what up,
Yeah.
son?
Oh
Yeah,
my
boy.
god. What's up, guys? How you
Louis,
doing?
hey, what
Christian,
do
have you
Louis-
ever been on a stream with Orc?
I've had the pleasure.
Okay.
That's right.
And
The
I-
pleasure's all mine.
And I
Hey,
still
what do
remember
Louisiana
them.
and Maine have in common, Christian Hand Horror?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know.
The 2 shittiest fucking roads out of all the states in the out of all 50.
Oh, I believe that.
Oh,
Yep.
no, dude,
And-
Wisconsin.
No,
Wisconsin.
no.
Oh,
No,
road
Louisiana and Maine.
impassable. And I'm
you
not
can
even talking in weather, just impassable.
No, not passable. You fall in a ditch. And you're like, oh, I'm in an Uber. Now I'm in a ditch. And you're just like your car's like the hole's like this, and you're like in the hole.
Now, on the other hand, the best roads in America are in Texas. Whereas when they say we have to do we need to build an overpass, but they don't build it just above the road like any other place. No, this thing goes in the air like a roller coaster, like 5 miles in the air with an angle built into it. So if you're not going fast enough, you're falling. It's insane. Texas is amazing.
Oh, it's the most scariest place to drive, man. I've never been more terrified in my life, man.
Oh, come to Jersey.
I genuinely thought I was going to get killed when I was driving on the roads in Texas.
The roads here are always bad because I live in the snow belt and we get a lot of snow. And so that ice gets underneath the pavement and just cracks it every year. So every year, New York spends a ton of money fixing roads. It's ridiculous. You know immediately when you cross the line from PA to New York because all of a sudden it's like all over the place. I swear to God.
I'll never understand why Texas drivers are so aggressive. They've got some of the best food. They've got Alamo Draft House. They got everything. It's like, and they still drive like they're just all pissed. And they're like,
and then they see a snowflake and they're like, "Oh my god!"
They're like, "Oh, gotta go get my frost."
We got a draft house in Brooklyn. We're getting there. Oh well, thank you for coming on board, Christian. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we've discussed a few films. Maybe you want to catch up your feelings real quick. Ready? Amityville horror remake, April Fool's Day remake, Carrie remake in 2002 and 13, Cat People remake, and Chaos, that unauthorized Last House on the Left remake. Anything in there you need to spit about?
Well, are you talking about the that 1982 Cat People?
Yeah,
I really liked that.
Okay, I'm gonna ban you from the chat. No,
I did. I thought it was cool. I liked some of the gore in it. It actually caught me by surprise. I can't comment on the original Cat People because I haven't seen it, but I liked it. Me and my wife my wife was a big fan of it, so she was like, "You need to buy this movie because I want to watch it again." So I had a great time with it. Thought it was really sensual and cool, just different. So big fan of that.
Amityville, I really like your wife too, but she's wrong on this one.
No, she's not. My wife's never wrong. Amityville, run of the mill.
Good man.
Christian clearly always replaces the toilet paper roll. Clearly.
He knows the rule. Happy wife, happy life.
What's your shoe with the remake? Does it have anything to do with your love for the original and it does something different? Is it the music? What is it?
Well, it's not the music. As I said when I introduced it, we're not talking Bowie here because obviously everyone's going to agree. But it's partial. Look, there's no way to erase the original. It's one of my favorite films, so I'm not going to pretend there's not some bias. But it's just not a very good film. I mean, it's kind of a mess.
I just couldn't disagree more.
Pretty.
I thought it was great.
It looks pretty, but it's a mess. I don't care about any of the characters. I don't care about the situation. I don't know. It's just there.
I loved it. The rest of them, pretty run of the mill.
Yeah.
But I gotta push back on Cat People a little bit because I really liked it.
And the irony here is Christian is a dog person.
I am. Well, I love that girl. What was her name? She had like the most amazing eyes. I loved her in that movie.
Natasha Kinski.
Kinski.
God, man, she sucked me right in. And I'm a Malcolm McDowell guy. So
this is a family-friendly show, sir.
What were the rest of them? You said Carrie.
Carrie 2002 and 2013. Chaos. April Fool's Day. Amityville Horror 2005.
I mean, Amityville's okay. It's not as good as the original. I love the original and part 2. It's fun. It's it's all right. I mean, you can it's watchable and you won't lose lose any moments out of your life that are too crucial. It's okay.
I actually like the Amityville remake quite a bit. I actually own a copy of that. Ryan Reynolds was pretty damn scary.
He was, yeah. I mean,
he chopped wood half the movie.
Yeah, well, it's scary. I mean, the damn kid looked like he was gonna get his head chopped off.
He said it was super hard for him to be mean to the kids. It was really hard for him, especially during the scene with the logs. Where they're cutting the logs. He said it was super hard for him to do that, but
smack the kid, didn't
he? Have y'all crapped on Rob Zombie yet?
No, we're only in the seas.
Don't worry, I'm on your side with that one.
Well, see, the thing is, Jamie, I have no desire to argue about Rob Zombie. I really don't care if people don't like it. I love Halloween movies. I love Rob Zombie movies. I love Rob Zombie's Halloween. I don't give a shit. Shit on it all you want. I don't care. Like honestly, I love it.
Find out if you don't care.
Oh, I promise you. You see the way? Do I look like I care right now? I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
That's true rock music
I
forever.
mean, Psycho's obviously pretty garbage because they just made it because
No,
they
you
thought
don't.
kids didn't want to watch black and white, so they just made the same movie again in color.
Yeah, and they added that lovely sound effect to the peephole scene because everybody wanted to hear that.
Well, you know, earlier you had Fake Jess was on with the soundtrack with that sound.
Yes.
Ugh.
It all works.
Satan came in with his porn.
Yeah. Actually, he was listed as Christ when he first tried to get on the show. So he switched hits. He plays for both sides. That's how it goes these days. Well, you know, spiritual warfare is spiritual warfare.
Even though
was that your cat?
Yes, that was Storm.
Aw.
I've never
swear,
seen
it
the
wasn't.
Cat People remake, but
Hi, kitty.
I did pick up this just randomly. It's kind of
Cinefantastique.
yeah, this Cat People.
Oh wow,
very very cool.
That's pretty cool.
Found that for like $1, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Never seen the movie though. Still,
Wait.
I do love the original. I've seen the original. I love it.
I just want to point out. Wait. I can't make Christian's knees any bigger. Damn. I'm trying, Christian. Can I? No, I can't. It sucks. All right. Don't worry, I'll do it in post. It'll end up as a post-credit scene. So, go ahead.
I was gonna say I know. Well, this is your show. I didn't want to interject, but I know one remake that I think is really bad, but you haven't said it yet.
Well, we're going alphabetically. We'll get to. I mean, there was 41 on the list.
Okay.
So Dark Water was the next thing I thought. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the original, but it's just like the American remake is so pointless. It's not that it's bad. It's just completely pointless.
I've only seen the original. I think Arrow put it out, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Didn't expect to like it.
I've seen them both.
Blu-ray release, guys.
What is
that?
What's that? Oh,
Mega Force.
Oh yeah, Mega Force.
Deeds, not words, people. Coming this summer.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't show you guys what.
That's actually really cool.
I Christian's seen this, but I picked up a copy of The Beast Must Die on Blue.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I love it. This is my favorite werewolf film. It's one of my favorite 70s films, period. I really heavily recommend it. And then right from the filmmaker, I actually got a copy of this, which I have no idea if it's gonna, So this is Revenge of the Slasher Nurse.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a good title.
Quality.
We'll find out.
Like a type of film. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that Beast Must Die movie. Mine will be here Monday. I can't wait to see another werewolf film.
It's very different than what you're expecting. The movie's infamous for having intermissions were still a thing in '74 when the movie came out. So there's an intermission in the film in which there's a narrator that tries to see if you can guess who the werewolf is. It's great. It's amazing.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's real vintage movie theater experience stuff. Al is on the move.
No, I'm getting attacked by bees here.
I want to put the Halloween music on you at this moment.
Go ahead, man.
So, any other words on Dark Water? Anyone?
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer Connelly.
I love the original Dark Water. I think it's a great film. Not as quite as good as Ring, which I'm calling it that.
You're talking Ringu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not talking about the American thing.
Yeah, I really enjoy Dark Water quite a bit. And the remake, oh, it's so bland. It's so tedious. It's just like, this thing just go drags. It's like an hour 20 maybe movie. It feels like it goes on forever. I did not like it at all. And they brought in can I spoil it?
Yeah.
Care?
Well,
like
just
they brought
anyone who
like a
knows the real Eliza Lamb story got it. So
yeah, I mean, it's like it's got like it brings in a serial killer aspect. It's like the remake didn't have that. It didn't need that. It was so unnecessary.
I'm cheering for Al, Team Al. Oh man.
Cam, are you there?
Oh, here's Cameron. Al leaves and then Cameron comes back. I mean, Cameron joins. Holy shnikes.
Wait, is that Cameron or is that someone pretending to be Cameron? Because he said if we're still on in an hour, he'll join.
Just wait for
Okay.
a Sasha Grey noise.
Oh my god!
I fucking called that shit, son.
This is the
First
magic
family
of
computer,
cinema, right here.
1995.
That's a real
First
talk.
family computer, 95. Bam. Circuit City when it was around, son, and I'm not even that old. Let's go.
See, but this is how I get free like content for the show. Who did we just lose? Al. We lost Al.
I was getting attacked by bees, and I was like, "Oh man, it's Cameron! Wow, hey, look,
I
he's
think
here."
he was spitting at the bees in retaliation, though.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so we got an album. I think we have a fake camera. Hey Cam, if that's really you, I want you to turn on your camera. You don't have to be in the broadcast with it on, but I want to see you before I put you in. So
Al, are you okay?
Yeah, I was just getting attacked by bees, so I had to, shoo them away.
No, I was rooting for you. I was like, "Come on, dude! I hope you make it out." Yeah.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Excellent. So,
As far as that remake goes, I actually think that it's not bad. I liked watching it. I've probably seen it more times than the original, and only because it was on HBO over and over and over again. But I don't know. I enjoyed the remake. I didn't think it was that bad.
Did you see the original? I mean, just to be clear.
Yeah. I went through a whole Japanese horror phase.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Asian horror phase.
Well, you were right in the first case, so that's cool.
Well, I knew it was Japanese, but I'm saying I went through like a whole Asian horror where I watched a whole bunch from a whole different places. So, yeah.
I think we all did. I think we were all just tired of the post-Scream, post-Hostel landscape of American horror, and like the Japanese scene was so vibrant. And I mean, it was all based on Ringu. Let's face it, Ringu was the Scream of Asia. But when you look at the two films, one obviously has a lot more depth than the other. So it was just we were all drawn there, I think. And I think it was sad that the American remakes happened because they never captured what was so vital and important about that scene. I don't think anyway.
Like Ring 2?
Well, are we talking the Japanese films or the American films?
Yeah, the direct follow-up to the original Japanese.
I think Ringu 2 is the least of the original trilogy. I think Ring 0 is brilliant, but Ring 0 is a completely different type of film, which is what a good sequel does, frankly. But Ringu 2 is good, but it feels the weakest of the three consistently for me. But it still has a lot of that atmosphere, so it does win me over mostly. Yeah. You there with me, or Griffin, or do you have different feelings?
Remake stole more from the second one. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I thought the remake it borrowed more from the second film than it did from the first, with a lot of the imagery.
My problem with the American remake of Ring, which we will just jump ahead and we won't cover Ring remake later. We'll do it now. Is just that they dumbed down the story and the characters to such a ridiculous degree, and they made the kid unbearable. Which the thing about the original film is you actually kind of like that kid, like legitimately. Like that kid's life has sucked, but he's not moping. He's just this kid caught in this situation where his parents are separated, and they're both kind of both damaged people. Both parents are damaged in their own ways, and the kid's really accessible to the audience. So when the kid watches the videotape and she comes in and runs and hugs him, in the original, you're like, oh my God, pure innocence just got attacked by this thing. And the clock starts ticking. In the remake, you don't like the kid at all, and you're like, whatever.
Right.
I don't care.
He's your typical Hollywood, cast kid.
I actually thought the first.
Just
I'm sorry, bro.
Run in the mill. Sorry.
Yep.
My bad, bro. I didn't mean to cut it. I was gonna say the first Ring remake I thought was okay. I just liked the way it looked, like the cinematography, and I thought it had some decently creepy stuff. The second one of the remake, the sequel to the remake, was trash, pure garbage. I hated it.
Rings.
Yeah, I think wasn't it called Ring 2?
They were making fun of VHS.
No, Ring 2. Ring 2 is the first sequel, and then there's Rings, which is the third
Rings
film.
was
I
bad.
didn't even
Rings
see
was bad, man.
I didn't even see it.
I'll never
Rings
watch that.
First
movie.
half hour has so
I'll
many
never
great
watch
ideas
Rings.
that I want it to be good, and then it just loses them all and just retells Ring.
Well, I remember the rumor mill was when that movie didn't do good. That was one of the reasons that they axed another Jason movie at the time. But that was a big rumor, but I don't know
It wasn't a rumor. They floated it at the studio. Floated that as a reason. Paramount really suggested it. It's not true.
Oh,
well,
how can they do that though? I'm sorry.
Because they're ignorant. I mean, that they don't know what people want. They don't know that there's millions of Friday the 13th fans out there. There's these jackholes that are sitting around a desk at Paramount. They have no idea.
And then people are constantly buying Friday the 13th in every single version.
Paramount, you have to understand that the big thing about the Paramount deal, the Interstellar deal with Paramount for Friday, what you have to understand is there was a limited opportunity to make money with it. Because if they made a great film and the rights reversed back to New Line, you just laid them up, your competition, to reap your benefit.
Okay. So
it had to be a grand slam for them to do it. They had to get that $100 million, box office off the $15 million production budget. If it was going to come out and do what Rings did, it wasn't going to work. And then you just fed the competition.
But why Rings, man? That's got to be one of the biggest. That's going to be one of the biggest, fails in movie history.
Agreed.
Again, I think the first 20 minutes, half hour, I think are actually pretty decent. And then when it's doing the whole thing on the college campus where they've set up a network to deal with the problem and explore it, I think that's the movie they should have made. But then they go to the farm town and it becomes the first film again, which is pointless. Yeah. Hey, Cam.
Hello.
A lot of people wanted to be you today.
What do you mean?
A lot of pornographic people doing pornography at home have been pretending to be you.
Somebody came in here pretending to be you and then played porn.
Oh wow!
Just the audio.
Yeah, just the audio of it.
In fact, one of them right now is trying still to get in under your name. So
who could it? Do you know who it is?
It's not who you think it is, but I don't know who it is. This is whoever Satan was. I'm convinced.
Why on earth did they?
Same guy.
Why on earth do they choose me?
No. Because you. But before this, they were trying to be Jess. So
yeah,
Jess Graham. So it's not just you. It's not an attack on you. It's an attack on my show, but which is hilarious because I love it.
How many times can you watch slashers, Beverly Hills Cop, Die Hard, and then play video games?
Eat blizzards.
See, it wasn't me. I thought it was me the whole time. Eat blizzards, Frosties, bacon. Exactly. I'm a busy man.
A bacon blizzard sounds amazing. It would get me sick in so many different ways.
I try to
Patton Oswalt said it best. Just go to one of those fast food places and just say, throw all that shit in a bowl and just fucking give it to me.
I tried a Nerds Blizzard once, and I looked like the Dana Carvey's church lady for like the next 24 hours. So
you've recovered, sir.
That's good stuff. So let's go.
You're looking good.
Let's go real deep on bad remakes. We're in the D's now. Day of the Dead.
Oh man,
the Steve Miner film.
Yes.
Vegan zombies.
How? Let me ask you this: they can't get him to do a commentary for Friday the 13th, but they can get him to do a commentary for Day of the Dead.
Hey.
And an hour-long making of Lake Placid. Come on.
Oh God. What year was that released?
Which one?
The Day of the Dead Steve Miner.
I think it was like 2005, right after it was after Dawn of the Dead.
Zack Snyder film. Yeah, it was around there.
I remember
And
Annie Cole
somewhere-
kept talking about it.
And somewhere in there was a semi-authorized sequel to Day of the Dead called Day of the Dead Contagion.
Yeah.
Which is somehow kind of worse than the minor film. Somehow, it's like
That's
like
when I
you go
saw
as deep-
it popped up. Sorry, go ahead.
You go as deep
I
as
wanted to say
Dante
something.
did. Do it. You managed to go in hell, and then someone hands you a shovel.
I just saw Contagion pop up like among recommended films, and I was just like, no, I'm just gonna keep just scroll. That's one of those where you just like
You
keep
made the
scrolling.
right choice.
That's why I go to the experts. People are like, why are you on these shows like the Sausage Factory for so long? It's like
You were
because
so smart doing that.
I asked smart people like James DVD Collector, B Movie Mike, Lauren, anyone who's on any of these films who are actually film fans. So that's what I ask. Like I'm like, is this movie good? They're like I remember someone was like, watch Eraserhead. I think it was Cole actually. He's like, if you can make it through, it's an accomplishment. I was like, all right, because I'm not, you know.
And then Orc had to go sit in the corner.
Hey, but then, you know,
Nobody
him and
puts
Jay the
Hulk in a
Stinger.
corner.
But then him and Jay the Stingray, and then along with Cameron's advice, they're like, watch Mulholland Drive, and I was like, I really like women. They're great.
Orc, I'm gonna send you Inland Empire. It's
No,
on YouTube. I want to get you.
That is
get your opinion on that
terrorism.
one.
You'll end up on a list.
It's awful.
So-
Don't watch it.
So Orc,
It's
how,
awful.
how
Oh my god.
Orc, after you saw Mulholland Drive, how did you stop going to the back of the garbage cans?
No, but that scene's epic as fuck though. I was like, wow, holy shit! But then that's just one of those Silencio. I don't know. That's a meme in itself.
Yeah.
I just the best scene in that whole movie is when there's like the accountant is like he's at his office and he just gets like blown to pieces. I think I don't know. I think
That's Twin
like
Peaks season 3.
Yeah.
no. There was some.
Oh,
There was
no.
some.
What you talk about with the assassin that can't get his job right?
Yeah, they can't get his job. That's hilarious.
That's a great scene. It doesn't connect to anything, but it's awesome.
Oh, the assassin scene is the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was like.
Well,
I mean, there's the lesbian scene. That's cool. There's the jump scare scene and all the other stuff. But the assassin scene where he royally f's it up, I was laughing so hard.
Well,
I want the Lynch crime film with all of his bad criminals from all these films in one film.
Yeah. Well, that scene was going to pay off if it went to series.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. But as it is, I don't want it removed, but it does not belong in the movie. It's great. Hey Christian, what's on
it was
Tinder
so
right now?
Satisfying seeing.
I'm married, dude.
Yeah, so what's on Tinder right now?
I'm not on
Exactly.
Tinder. No, I still have sex. I'm good.
Nice.
Saying
Nice.
All right, I'll let you know what's on Grindr.
he has to take a pill, but he can still,
Not yet.
All right, here's what's on Grindr. Let me see.
Oh man.
That's what these shows are all about. It's not just about my cat in the window.
Oh my god.
All right, so I don't really want to spend any more time on Day of the Dead because we all know that we all suffered enough because it was one of those titles you couldn't ignore, right? We love Day of the Dead, and here's Steve Miner, and you saw the trailer, went, that looks awful, and you still watched it anyway.
I think the worst sin is it carried over Ving Rhames, and so people thought it was a sequel to Zack Snyder's film.
Oh, that's right.
Hard to believe that Ving would just, sign up for just anything thrown at him, right?
Oh man.
He used to have taste.
Yeah. He's the
Now
arms
it's just
guy
like,
now.
When's the next Mission Impossible film so I can film one scene and make a cool million? That's what the fans want. So there was a remake of a television movie put out by a very accomplished filmmaker that I really detest. Not the filmmaker, the remake he made, and that's Del Toro's "Don't Be Afraid of the Dark." I don't know how familiar you guys are with the original 70s
I love the original
television movie, but it is an important part of my progression as a horror fan. In my childhood, it is one of those titles that just rules the roost.
But he didn't direct it, right?
No, he did not.
Right.
But he might as well because he was like running the production like Iron Fisted.
Oh,
Was that the one that came out in 2011?
All right, here we go again.
I don't think
He's
that's
back.
Jess.
He's back.
it's
He's
not
back.
Jess.
The guy's back.
Oh,
Oh,
it
it
is.
is. All right.
Surprise.
This is like a scuffed version of an Unfriended, like one of those movies.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think?
I think it's
I didn't
Don't be
see
awesome.
afraid.
I didn't even bother
Oh,
to
it-
see it.
I never
No,
saw
I
that
haven't.
film.
I haven't.
I
seen
didn't
it.
see the remake, but the original, like you said, Lauren, is a big part of growing up, and I love the
I think it's-
original.
I think it's a tri-state thing, man. That's what I think it is.
He was the producer in that one, right?
Yeah.
It's like with the little demon guys. Yeah.
And he's gone again. I think
He's
he's just
having
teasing
technical
us. He's just teasing us. All right, not much to say there. Another Asian remake that I think fails on every level. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought the remake of Don't Be Afraid of Dark was just so cliched with the parents, the whole act with the parents constantly not believing the doctor. I just thought it was obnoxious.
You know the original doesn't have any kids in it, right?
I agree with everything Griffin said. So yeah.
I'm talking the Del Toro one.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that's how vastly different their approach was and how much it fails. Kim Darby's not a good actress, but at least, she's an adult. The whole idea is kids are afraid of the dark.
Maybe.
That's not scary for kids to watch kids be scared of the dark. When an adult is reduced to being scared of the dark, well, that's something. But also, that was a film, I think, if you were going to remake Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, you had to be very careful about casting.
Hey, I'm still afraid of the dark. I saw Darkness Falls in the theater like 3 times.
Oh.
You know?
That's a movie. The first 5
My
minutes.
favorite horror
so
movie is
good.
Alone in the Dark.
Ooh.
Everyone should check out Alone in the Dark,
All you had to do
1981.
was take the money.
that film.
Just take the money. Don't look.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We've all been there too.
I actually don't think I've seen either one of them.
Oh, Jamie, you need to see the TV movie.
Yeah, I know.
Oh
I've heard
my
that.
God,
I've
it's
heard that
so-
people talking about it, and I know nothing about it. I don't know why I would skip something that's called "Don't Be Afraid of the Dark," but apparently I did.
Warner Archive have a great Blu-ray of it. It looks as good as anything from that period could ever look. So Joe Bob, if that's really you, I'm gonna need you to turn on your camera so that I see that it's you before I bring you on. We're just having a little bit of trouble today with some imposters.
This is just an ongoing
Did you
meme.
put
I love
Four
put
imposters.
Did you put the link in the chat or something?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
But how else can we get a group of people like this together?
I don't know. I think we're all pretty friendly with each other. So.
Yeah, but scheduling.
What would really got you guys if I didn't come on today, but that person decided that they were going to put my name and then not turn the camera on and then have those sounds play.
Oh God.
That would have been bad.
That would have been crazy. Yeah.
That would be a completely different show.
I wouldn't have believed it anyway because you live in Amish prudish country up there, so you know.
Yes, I'm a total prude.
But she's not a prude. She's not a prude. Not that I would know. Not that I'm just saying she's married. She's,
I'm definitely not a prude.
she's happily married.
For 20 years, if that says anything.
That's a beautiful thing.
And Christian is not on Tinder. I believe all of you.
And I am on Grindr.
I don't need Tinder. I don't need Tinder. I can go out and get women. I don't need to go online for women.
You just need a big enough net and a trunk that fits too, right? When I shop for cars, I always ask that question. I'm like, how many cheerleaders does the trunk hold?
Yes.
Hey, Lauren, are you putting together your Visited by Voices MySpace page still? Or?
I'm working on it,
Yeah.
but I think Friendster might be the better option.
Zanga.
Oric, are you going to create an OnlyFans or what's going
I'm on OnlyFriends right now, dude.
Not OnlyFriends, the OnlyFans.
OnlyFriends, and then once they're on OnlyFriends, they go tier 3 sub to OnlyFans.
Or it should be in the top 1% creators.
Just so you know, Bella Thorne ruined the whole thing. So you get paid every 2 months now instead of every month.
That's the meme. Yeah, no, I was only friending a year ago, dude. Oh, come on, let's be real here, dude. Come on. I'm still on MySpace. No, I haven't logged into that in like 20 years.
I bet.
I never closed my account.
You know what I think is bad? I think they have all those accounts saved, and they're going to pop them up when everyone runs for Congress.
Well, it's all in the cloud in the archives, right? It's kind of like the
Right.
like the encyclopedia of metal and stuff. But what's hilarious is like it's everyone's page is still there. It's like you know,
I've been
it's
getting
like,
messages this whole time. So if you do log back on, there's like 4,000 messages from like friends. you didn't
everyone has an AOL. A
Is
Juno,
it Tom
or
saying, "Come back, please come back"?
he was the guy. Tom was your friend. Zuckerberg was never your friend.
No.
Tom was always your friend. He was
Tom's
always
the
there.
man.
Zuckerberg was always selling your information.
Yeah.
That's the difference. He
Yeah,
was
that's
as friendly
probably-
as you needed to monopolize off your
Keyword was, still is, and every other site is.
I've never had a Facebook. I never will have a Facebook. I read books. I don't face them.
I don't even look at them, which explains my immaculate vocabulary.
I was big with MySpace karaoke. They featured me a couple times.
What?
Yeah.
There was a
Did you ever do
MySpace
that?
karaoke?
Yeah, and it was a blast. I had so much fun. All of those, like not all of them, but some of the stuff on my SoundCloud is through that. Others is through a contest I did here at home. But
Jamie,
I had fun with that.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you sing some acapella "Don't Dream It's Over"?
No.
Please.
Wait, you have a
everyone ask her. Everyone say ask her, please. Please.
No, I
Come on, Jamie.
Some crowded house, just a little bit of crowded house.
I cannot do that song. It's out of my range. It's out of my range.
Well, what
now.
will you sing for us?
Oh God.
Born on the bayou.
Wait a second, you have a SoundCloud. All right, Monty, I don't want to steal your thunder, but are you a producer, Jamie?
A producer.
Yeah. Do you
She had a
produce?
kid, if that's what you're asking.
I'll say there's some bitches 8 feet tall.
It depends on what I'm producing. Yeah, he is.
Do
I
you
know.
Are you a fan of hip hop or rap, Jamie?
I'm a fan of all kinds of music. I have very
All right.
eclectic tastes, so I like all kinds of stuff.
You like Walk This Way and like It's Tricky.
Yeah.
Like, Run DMC. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That's my era.
I wasn't expecting that to be the song Orc brings up to ask.
All right, wait. So since Jamie's refusing to play, Orc, I'm gonna need some freestyle. But wait a second, hold up. We're gonna do this like Astronautilus does this. Everyone but me, pick a noun. It can be anything, and Orc's gonna have to incorporate it into the rap. Al, give me a word quick.
Slaughter.
Christian.
Avocado.
Slaughter's
Jamie.
an adjective.
I know. I kept going. Jamie.
Oh God.
Well, Slaughter was a band, so that's how it's a noun.
Toy.
Griffin.
Tomato.
This is an interesting meme.
And Monty.
Knife.
Okay.
NIGHT.
There he is.
James.
What's up, James? James.
Hey, James. So, Orc, you have 1 minute to put together your rap using all those elements.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
This is what
This is
what our YouTube was trained for. So, James, how you doing, sir?
Hi, James. You're on the.
Hi there, Lorne.
Hi.
Hello, Jamie there.
James, what's up, buddy?
Where's Cameron? Oh, he's left just before he knew that I was going to be on.
I think he saw you coming, man. He's ducking.
Sorry, I've got two different things making noises.
So does Christian. It's fine.
Sorry. Just wait 1 second.
No problem. All right, I'll tell you what. You got the second.
I had YouTube on and StreamYard. Sorry.
Oh wow. See what we're getting the chat in one.
I could hear me just saying something about Cameron. It was not obsessive in the slightest. So.
Oh, we got a fake Cameron trying to get in right now. So again.
Is he making noises again? Sex noises?
I'm not going to put him in.
There is a Cameron too, actually. That I've seen him about.
So, Orc, are you ready?
Who?
I'm making a mad rhyme. 2 more minutes.
Okay,
2 more
okay,
minutes.
2 minutes. You get.
This is gonna be
I got
good.
Mom
And
Spaghetti.
Jamie,
I'll
can you do
sing
me a
something.
favor? Can you lay? Okay, I was going to just say lay some background vocals for him, but go ahead.
All right. It's been several hours and 15 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whomever I choose.
Not
I
bad.
eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant.
I don't want to ruin it. So.
But nothing, I said nothing can take away these blues.
Everyone.
'Cause nothing
compares.
Nothing compares to you.
Yeah. So I love the fact that not
Jamie.
only did she cover
That was
Prince,
good. That was freaking good.
But she did the Chris Cornell arrangement of Prince. So I give her massive credit.
Nice work.
Thank you.
We'll return to movies in just a moment, guys. But in the meantime, we have our musical interlude with Jamie and Orc. Orc, your 2 minutes are up, sir.
Orc.
Orc.
All
right, here we go.
Orc.
Yo, I slaughter an avocado like Jared gets extra cheese on a tomato in prison. You think this is a Toy Story, but this is all glory. With the glory of a white knight at your home story.
Nice.
It's that's like a 2 out of 10.
Good.
Yeah.
Christian? Do you have a guitar nearby?
No.
Yeah, come on, Christian. We need some instrumentals.
I need some G minor.
Christian, you got 2 minutes. Come up with something for us on the guitar.
Oh, come on.
Mom spaghetti, it's ready. Avocados in your head
Come
are
on. Being shown up. All right. Remakes. And Christian, we will get back to your musical interlude.
I can't wait till we get to the Nightmare remake. I cannot wait.
Oh, it's coming. Flatliners.
Boo. Trash.
Garbage.
Garbage.
Wow, they ought to be ashamed of themselves for that crap.
Agreed.
Complete garbage.
So
It didn't need to be remade.
Yeah, so it's a film that doesn't feel aged particularly, besides not having cell phones, right? So why did anyone think that was a title that needed it?
And it's a cult movie. Like, really, only of us people who are old would even remember Flatliners.
Exactly.
Like, you know.
Well, I wouldn't say old, but it's appealing to a certain demographic, and they completely messed it up by making it into a shit film, basically. So,
oh god.
I mean, to be frank, but I mean, clearly, the original was very slick. The new one was just sick. It wasn't very good, was it? I mean, it had Kiefer Sutherland in it, but that didn't redeem it. So.
Terrible.
Was Kiefer Sutherland signed up for that?
It wasn't. I mean, it was. It seems like they did the same thing with Pet Sematary as well. They turned it into like a bad.
Oh
TV
yeah,
movie.
the remake was horrible. Did you see the remake, James? Pet Sematary?
Yes, I did, and I watched that more closely than Flatliners. And Jamie probably has a slightly different view to me, but on the other hand, I was just sort of laughing at it because it was just so
me too,
comically
man.
sort of
terrible
going up that way. I mean,
just.
It just seems so misjudged at times, as well as just they've got the money to make it, so why do they end up making a whole fake CGI background where the
CGI.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Green screen. Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah, green screen is the better word.
Terrible.
I mean,
It was atrocious.
and then they change over as well, just for no reason. The child that gets hit by the truck.
Yeah.
And so it's it just seems like a gimmick, really, in the end. And then, whilst Funnily enough, Jamie actually said that she was watching the original, the OG as she called it. Of
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
She was watching
I
Ice
didn't know what
T.
that meant. I was like, the Og Pet Sematary. And then, so I started watching it, and I was like thinking,
Cop killer!
This film
Mind
doesn't
over
look like
matter.
how I remember it all. I mean, it's a good
The
film. though,
original Pet Sematary, like Jamie said, you know, and I go back, you know, what she said the other day in the chat, and she's completely right. And I'm sure I share the same sentiments as everybody else. The original Pet Sematary is fucking amazing. I loved it. It has that. Lauren, was it released in 1990? Exactly in 1990.
Cedar from Wilson Phillips in it. So
1989. So it has that look, that feel, the tone, the cinematography. I love everything about it.
Do you know what I mean?
I like it more than part two. I like it more than part two.
Have you
and I
seen
love
Wilson
part two.
Phillips' song "Hold On"?
On the
It
mountaintop?
feels a bit like that, like where they're kind of on the mountain and everything, and then that actual actress is in it from Wilson Phillips.
Yeah.
I think the big problem is like.
Are you mistaking Denise Crosby for what's her face there from Wilson Phillips? The
what's her face?
The blonde one.
Blonde one.
Oh yeah.
Michelle Phillips' daughter. I
The,
can't
two,
think of her.
the almost too good-looking one. You mean just blue steel?
I was really worried about them on that mountaintop because if they couldn't get down in enough time, like the larger one was going to eat the others.
No, the larger one couldn't actually move. She was put on there with a crane.
It was like the scene from Godzilla versus King Kong. They like used hot air balloons to just
I'm
rise
only
up.
joking. That's a joke. I mean, she's a very good singer, but
oh sure,
they always put her in the background of the videos for some reasons. But
I can't imagine why.
I mean, that was terrible, to be honest. It's like, it just shows how sort of sexist things were back then, and now it's completely changed.
Has it?
Has it really?
Not like there's women just showing their asses non-stop in videos or anything like that.
Yeah, you're a Caucasian male, James. Feel bad.
Wait,
You're
James.
shitty.
I do actually.
Where are you seeing music videos? What are these music videos you speak of? There used to be a channel that showed them, but there isn't anymore.
You know,
oh, you
like,
mean MTV2 when that came out in 2000?
Cardi B and all that,
Yeah.
Oh God.
But I mean, they made a video and it's like got zigzag floors in it, and people start posting up on all the forums like, "Oh my God, there's a Twin Peaks reference." I mean, I have to bring in Twin Peaks obviously at some point.
Yeah.
But
here's the legend for all you old guys. And I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But so there was Friday the 13th films, there was Halloween movies, and then when was Twin Peaks? Like, when did that first come about? Because I used to go on. Those were my two big forums back in the day.
Yeah, Twin Peaks was 90.
90.
Mid-season 90.
No, but so that's when the forum came along, though.
Oh, I don't know. I thought
you
were Twin Peaks fans, dude.
You mean like
the internet was used to launch nuclear missiles at that point.
So I'm talking 1998. Like Myers' head's flying off down a hill in some fucking San Bernardino fucking valley, like hill where Jamie Lee Curtis is cutting it off. And then there's Friday the 13th films.com and there's HalloweenMovies.com, I think. Yeah, not .net. Was there a Twin Peaks film site or no? Like a forum?
Back then there wasn't, was there?
I don't know, but that was poetry.
So, but it was.
That was back in the day, son. How many AOL trial CDs could you get?
Yahoo news groups, and I knew some people, who were on there. There's one guy who called himself Psycho. I didn't know why, and then they've recently kind of disowned me in the Twin Peaks community a bit because
Yeah, James has a reputation.
It was too nice for them. I don't know why. I mean, people within fan communities, you can get people who are a bit overzealous, but I do think Twin Peaks, it takes it to the next level, as it were.
And I never understood that because it's such.
You can just join OnlyFriends, man. It's fine.
You don't like the show.
OnlyFriends, that'll work.
Like
OnlyFriends with Tom.
I did recommend Twin Peaks to one person, and then he was working on like editing doing the color correction on the, the 2014 release they did of it. I mean, people, and then he was like leaking everything, so they sacked him. But like he said, the show seemed very dry as he, and I was like, what do you mean dry? But everyone's entitled to
Ernest.
their own opinion.
No, what he means is everything's cynical now, and that first season is not cynical at all.
Probably it is. Yeah, I think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Because he was very much a fan of those sort of like 70s TV movies and stuff like that. The ones that were all called things like Reflections of or something about, and they were very overdone. Whereas Twin Peaks was just sort of more static, but it was quite sincere. And and even the season 2 as well, I think. It's just...
I think season 2, I mean, we're going to make this a Twin Peaks conversation apparently, but
no, we don't.
I think season 2, the difference is that Lynch was allowing himself, the production was allowing itself to go darker, which it really held back on in the first season. And I think to its detriment, for televised Twin Peaks, the second season's first half is my favorite Twin Peaks.
Hang on real quick. So we're on Twin Peaks and we kind of veered off, but in normal fashion, we're going to hit F's and then it'll be fast food number 1 and then Friday the 13th. So you're good.
Okay. But I think that the cynicism doesn't start until the end of the second season. I think when we get to the Little Pine Weasel and we get to the pageant, you start to see cynicism start to roll in. And then, but Fire Walk with Me smartly was just a different monster, right? It's
absolutely,
and that's my favorite piece of Twin Peaks. So, I mean, it's going to be different for everyone, but I can't imagine people getting heated about this shit. There's so much to love. Can't we just
There's some kind of weird noise, like somebody. Oh, it's got. In terms of that year, though, for instance, like this totally evaded my attention at the time, slightly anyway. The Exorcist 3.
Oh yeah.
And I think like some people said, like with the second season of Twin Peaks, that they're basically trying to do like some kind of exorcist possession thing and all this, but I could see what they mean. But I mean, I think this was an overlooked sort of film during that.
Never far from me.
The book is different, isn't it? But it's like they are definitely related. And
no, the book is really close. They got rid of the Amfortis subplot, which is unfortunate because there's some of my favorite stuff in there. And they streamlined a couple conversations into single conversations, and the ending's completely different. But as far as literary adaptations, I mean, Vlad did it himself. I think it's an admirable job.
Yeah. It's like I got this version, and it's kind of got all of the sort of VHS cutscenes, but and then it's sort of made into a director's cut as such. But I mean, because they're just sort of so poor quality, you can't really fully enjoy it,
Sweet paperback version, Griffin. I like that.
That's the copy. That's the version I had growing up.
It's awesome. I found that for like $1
with the die cut cover.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That was a big gimmick in the mid '80s. That was really popular, but it's hard to find them in good shape because a lot of them actually end up tearing because of those die cut covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Cameron.
Oh, thank you. My internet conked out.
Well, it's California.
We've gone on to The Exorcist now, so Cameron just came in because he wanted to talk about Exorcist 2.
Hey man, I got McDonald's Wi-Fi too.
What film are we discussing?
Well, surprisingly, we veered into Twin Peaks for a moment, but we're done with that now that you're back.
Okay, yeah.
So you're on McDonald's Wi-Fi, and
I was going to say, if you're talking about The Exorcist, Dominion just got announced as getting a Blu-ray, but not Exorcist the beginning. Well, I thought, why not just release a double cut?
Well, The Exorcist beginning is probably one of the best films of its year, I think.
Oh man, Exorcist the beginning is great.
I'm kind of like, it's good in its own way.
I prefer it to Dominion. I prefer it to Dominion, but they're both bad.
See, I think Dominion at least tries to
Exorcist 3 is absolutely amazing. I don't know. I love Exorcist 3, so.
Yeah.
No one's going to disagree with that. But it's the rest of the series besides
right.
the first and third films that are a problem.
Yeah.
It would have been better on the cinema, The Exorcist 3, I imagine. Because
I love Exorcist 2, but everybody makes fun of me for it. So
I like it in a very
It's like some people like Piranha 2.
Exorcist 2 is still a good film.
Piranha 2 is Jim Cameron's best film, and I'll stand by that. I will. I'll stand by that. It's
Jamie.
Lauren,
we respectfully agree to disagree.
He was fired 2 weeks into the film. Is that why it's so good?
That is. They saved the movie.
Oh God.
No, the thing is, Dominion is slow.
Yeah.
It's a slow movie, and the beginning has that Rennie Harlan energy to it. It doesn't make a lick of sense, and it's random and has some bad editing and some really bad CGI.
That's not his fault because they gave him $15,000 to finish the CGI for the DVD.
Right. So, but by the same rate, I would just say that like I watched that movie and I go, okay.
That's he was talking about the Harlem one. The Harlem one has got almost the best CGI they could come out with that year, and I went to see it with someone, and he came out and he went, "That's the best film I've ever seen." I was like thinking, like, what have you been to see many films or what? But I mean, obviously, it struck a chord with him. But,
I get confused between the two. So which is beginning and which is Dominion?
Dominion's the one with the Indian kid, right?
They're completely different.
Yeah,
Dominion is the serious version of the same story, basically.
Yeah, where the kid is like possessed and doing this kind of stuff. They take him out at the beginning, don't they?
Which one has the lady?
They both have the lady, but she's played by different women. And
right, but in one she's like super possessed, and
that's the one that's Harlan, where she's running down a corridor like with all her skin being blown by some kind of fan that someone's holding, going
just off screen.
It's like amazing. No, but they kind of CGI'd it to the max, and that removes any real sort of scares in a way. But I think Dominion could have been scary,
not scary.
No.
Dominion's problem is you fall asleep before the scares start.
Schrader basically wants to make a Western, not a horror.
But I admire the fact that they went to Paul Schrader, because if you're going to do an Exorcist sequel, he's kind of the person you would go to because of the seriousness he's going to treat the subject.
Yeah.
On paper, it works. It just doesn't work as a film.
The intention was good, but it was just, when you look at his films like that one he made with Nick Nolte, or
they probably should have just brought in Harlan to redo the third act, like World War
Affliction.
Z,
Yeah.
So.
But there's something else they could have done, which is that if you look at that franchise, there is someone else you could have called who was still alive, named William Peter Blatty, and said, "Hey, God, why don't you write the prequel?" And you know what? He would have been amenable to do it. But they didn't. They were like, no. That franchise only works when Blatty's with them.
Creative differences.
Well, they wanted to make a fast book because, like, those films were made back to back, and just, I used to go on the Exorcist the beginning website. I mean, and it was like beyond a joke almost. It's like turning something from like this kind of big thing in the 70s where people were like, oh my God, I was fainting or having in the cinema, to like kind of, sort of basically like a franchise of, but I mean, it didn't work, did it? They couldn't make a franchise of Exorcist films.
Well, the whole beginning versus Dominion, that actually, believe it or not, is one of the citing points for doing Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's like, well, Warner Bros., you've done this before. You've set the precedent of releasing an original cut before, so do it again.
Yeah.
Mr. Tar Hill, how are you?
Not bad. How about you guys?
I'm all right.
Surviving.
I see.
I'm
Orcs
amazing.
in the fucking chat. I see Orcs fucking here. Some bitch.
Yeah, what up, son? Yeah.
How you doing, Cameron?
Doing okay. I'm just mobile right now.
Why is
he's getting his steps in?
Do you mind me asking what is OnlyFriends.com? Is that a joke?
It's a site that you can visit. Tom can be your friend. He's from MySpace. He's already on there. Anyways, not related at all. It's funny to hear Mr. C. I miss the Instagram posts. It's been a long summer for me, but yeah. And the filming location.
Yep.
It's, you don't know what it is? It's Gosu.
It is.
Wow.
There's the throwback. Oh, there it is. I missed the filming location.
I got a nephew that's 27 this week, so.
There's an achievement there.
Yeah.
He has a what?
So, guys, the next movie on my list is one that I particularly hate. So this should be uproarious.
I've been ready for this.
The Fog.
Oh God.
The Tom Welling version that you can only get in full frame.
Well, less of that movie is a good thing.
Pure trash. Pure
Yeah,
trash.
I
was working at a movie theater when that came out, and the thing about it was packed. Opening, there was a lot of people in that theater. I hated it, and then I hated the fact that you had the sidekick dude who was trying to like imitate Eddie Murphy. You have testicle telepathy. I was like, this is some bullshit. Like, turn this off, man. This is garbage. I hate it.
You're trying to tell people not to go in.
Exactly.
Who remembers Seven Blair in that movie? Oh my God.
And Tom Welling?
Okay, a quick question. Did any of you guys think it was going to be good prior to walking into the theater?
Absolutely not.
No, not at all.
I saw The Mist, and then I said, should I watch the Fog remake because the original is so good? And then the special edition had just come out from Scream Factory, and everyone was like, fuck no, don't watch it. So I've never seen it.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Deadhead talked about it like crazy, and I'm just like, can't be that bad. Oh my God. It's terrible. It's a terrible movie.
Well, John Carpenter doesn't care. He got paid.
Yeah.
No shit.
I extend my hand.
Dead space, weed, and pizza. Yeah.
It essentially does everything the Halloween remake does badly. It explains every single detail, like down to the freaking stopwatch that John Houseman uses in the original. It's like, and then they gotta explain. We gotta have everything is explained about like the ship, the town, Tom Welling's abs. I don't know. Everything's explained in that damn movie. And
so explaining everything kind of like the Rob Zombie
sympathetic.
remakes, like you just said, right?
Well, why don't you guys
Christian.
explain this to me, not about the remake, but about the original? How come in the opening scene when John Houseman's talking to those people around the campfire, is there like 2 frames where the camera just zooms in real quick to his face and then it cuts away? I don't understand this. Like every version I've ever seen, it just does this. I mean, John Carpenter is usually not that bad of an editor. What's going on with that?
They had a lot of reshoots on the original, didn't they? After it was filmed.
I love the original. Like the original is my favorite Carpenter film.
Me too.
I think the thing is, Halloween is this relentless freight train that comes right at you, right? It just is. It's just pulse pounding the whole way. The Fog is a completely different monster. It says, no, we're going to go into the shrouded countryside. We're going to talk about urban legends. We're going to talk about the sins of our ancient past. We're going to take time. And Carpenter never did that elsewhere. He never did that subtle myth building. And I think it's a shame because he was really, really good at it. It's a film where I feel like that film is a 4-course meal. Whereas Halloween is like the best like home cooked meal you'll ever have.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China is kind of like the Fog.
No, it's not.
Well, I kind of think Prince
Got
of
'em.
Darkness kind of did that myth building, just like the Fog. I think Prince of Darkness would be like the closest to that. As
The
far as
closest,
Fog
yeah,
goes.
but I mean, I don't think it's anywhere near as successful.
Yeah.
No, I still
but
like it, but the original Fog is incredible. What annoys me is the remake of the Fog. It's like, oh, forget the original. Let's be like the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. We'll have roaring ghosts and ghosts that blow up and like the big head that comes out of the fog. It's like it's exactly like the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie.
Kind of like the
It's horrible.
Ghostbusters remake.
With all that lovely CGI.
I actually think the Fog is worse.
well, I haven't seen the Ghostbusters remake, so
I haven't seen the Fog remake in its entirety, but when I saw, like, damn. Whew.
So I think part of the problem just is the technology becomes a crutch in the wrong situations. And like you sit there and you take what on the page might have been actually pretty good. And then the CGI, you can do a big face in the fog. So you do. So rather than insinuate and put atmosphere and layers of mood, it all becomes about what showy can we do on screen because we can finally. And it's exactly the wrong kind of project for that, right? Because the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, which I don't like either,
okay,
but they work for what they are. I recognize that for Indiana Jones for another generation that's growing up on video games, basically, it works.
Yeah,
and
but
you can survive
the Fog,
COVID.
Well, I think not to mention the fact the Fog remake is it's just lazy as a movie. It's just very lazy. Like it doesn't. Carpenter, what's the scene in the original in the operating room where you see the leg come, the guy's getting up from up under the white sheet, and you see his leg come into the frame like that. But I'm saying the remake doesn't do things like that. It's just like bam, 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 and it's going through it in big poofs of smoke, like you were saying.
Let me throw out this though, because in the early '80s, Lauren, right, we had all these slasher films. We would have like just 2 or 3 almost coming out weekly, and then in the 2000s we had these remakes that were kind of coming out weekly. So when we complain about these bad remakes, maybe they were just cranking them out so fast they weren't even thinking about a new take, they were just like, let's get the title out there. So they almost became the slasher films of the early '80s, where they just were throwing them out there. But I would say the slasher films, they actually, try to make a good movie sometimes. So.
I think it's a different monster though, because like the slasher format did not require any real creativity to it necessarily. It didn't even require good filmmaking necessarily to be effective. When you take on something like The Fog, which is all about mood and atmosphere, that takes good filmmaking. You can't do the same thing. Yeah. I understand about you saying that there's a pipeline of these things, but that's just a failure of Hollywood, not recognizing that there's titles that you can't do this with.
But even Carpenter in the original tried to do a mood piece and then realized, oh my God, I have to put slasher blood elements into it. So he went back and reformatted it too.
Sure.
So maybe the Fog remake never should have happened. 1, because it's bad, but 2, maybe you can't do that kind of film for a big audience today, or at least at that point, because they're expecting something else. They're expecting CGI and all that kind of thing.
But take you're talking about in particular the babysitter scene is the big CGI addition to the original Fog. So you take that scene, it is a slasher scene, but it's still moody and atmospheric and in the mood of the rest of the piece around it. It doesn't feel like an addition; it feels like part of that story. Everything in the Fog remake feels like, ooh, we just bought a template on the VFX that we can do this now. Let's find a way to put it in the movie. It just feels lazy and flat and boring.
And it doesn't build. It just does not build. It just jumps right in. No. So it's almost like you don't even have a chance to kind of feel.
Jump scares constantly.
It's so predictable.
Right.
It's so predictable. You don't care.
And there wasn't an attempt to make it good. It clearly they said Carpenter title, let's just take it.
Well, while we're on that, I'm going to skip over a title and jump to. Let's do it. If we're doing John Carpenter, let's talk. We'll give ourselves 5 minutes.
All right, let's
Halloween.
do it.
What were some of the movies that y'all mentioned before I came on here?
All of them.
So okay, Halloween, real quick. There are 3 versions that I'm aware of Halloween. There's the work print, the theatrical, and the what is now the director's cut. I think if you put all 3 of those on an editing timeline, you could create potentially a 90-minute good film. But I think the problem is there's too many bad elements in each version that weigh it down. But I think there can be a decent cut of it if you had someone who really cared. The original intent, just so people, in case you don't know, was that Rob Zombie wanted to take the original script that they used for the first film and just have the cinematographer from Amores Perros film it, so that it was going to be all handheld and very gritty. And he felt that alone would be different. But then the Weinstein said, no, you're going to write the script. And so Zombie tailored it to be zombie like.
Oh,
all right. The rest of you are getting 30 seconds to give your take on Halloween.
All right, I fucking go next.
Otherwise it'll be the rest of the show.
All right, I go next. This is gonna be
okay.
simple.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I have the 3-disc edition of the original, which is all those versions and all the features. Same with the second one that's loaded, and with all the features. And those two, the remake of Halloween 1 and 2, make me feel the worst. Like I would rather live in the middle of nowhere and just be complete trailer trash. Those 2 movies make me feel so bad to be Caucasian. I love being Caucasian and being Irish. Those 2 films just make me just want to not be white. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
James, 30 seconds. Rob Zombie's Halloween. Go.
Oh, me. I saw Rob Zombie's Halloween at the cinema, and basically, felt like it was trying to be as violent as possible, but I didn't find it very memorable. There's one scene where there's just a knife going through a woman, and it's like, and it's like, what the fuck? It's just brainless, basically.
I'm going to take the clip of James doing that, and I'm going to insert it in the movie and see if anyone can tell. Jamie, you got 30 seconds. What are you going to do?
I love them all. I love the Rob Zombie versions, and I don't care what anybody thinks about it. I love them. I love Rob Zombie, his music, all his movies, all the way around. He's one of my favorite artists, period. And I do love the original. Don't get me wrong. The original's great, and I still watch it every time I see it on or whenever I can. But I actually do. I really do like the Rob Zombie take on Halloween. So,
to be fair, though, when Jamie goes grocery shopping, she does pick the spotted apples. Joe Bob, you got 30 seconds, just 30 seconds to give us your take on Rob Zombie's Halloween. Go.
I think the prequel, the first 40-some minutes, could have been decent, but it just. I'm from the South. I'm from that redneck territory, but I just think it was disrespectful, even for my redneck ass. Like,
Too much even for you.
Yeah.
But Rob Zombie's from Mass, and so is the dude from Powerman 5000, and the music is good. And I like that Christian and Jamie have their own opinions, and they like them.
Oh, absolutely.
But the music and House and Devil's Rejects are good movies, but those movies, I'm sorry, they just Halloween 1 and 2. I just don't like them. But I like Christian, Hannah Horror, and Jamie's opinions, and Joe Bob. But yeah, I'll be quiet now.
And I respect Jamie's opinion on it. It does have moments, but when these things.
The work print had better music.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Griffin, 30 seconds. Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Be right back.
Like I don't care for it personally. It's a tiny bit better than the Fog remake, but I still don't care for it.
And the moment we've all been waiting for, Monty, spit some poison on this thing.
I like the orchestral score. I like the cinematography, but loud, profane, not for Michael Myers. Cliff Notes versions of Carpenter's film. Devil's Rejects was special guest appearance by Michael Myers.
That was probably as good as anyone has ever reviewed that film.
Yeah.
That should go on some like artistic website. The Cliff Notes version. That was some high school shit. I used to.
No, it really is like that second half of the movie, and it doesn't take its time. Like what is it where he kills the boyfriend and he hangs him up in the pumpkin? She opens the door and he's at the front door. I'm like, why does she not go up the stairs and into the basement and he fall out the closet? She just opens the door and he's already there. I'm like, well, what?
No, what you said was great. That's how I got my diploma.
Yeah,
right
I mean, yeah.
Dude, I want to mock up the DVD cover with that quote above the title.
But I will say I do like the music, the actual orchestral score when Jamie falls into the pool and he kind of stands there. That's the most time that movie takes its time, is when he watches her scream and the music goes do 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 and he starts to walk into the pool. I really like that scene. I just like him walking. I'm like, thank goodness. He's just it's not loud. You
just wanted a film of Michael Myers walking, that's it.
That's the best part of it. I like the way he looks too. I think he looks cool. I'm not a crazy
I agree.
But the mask is
so
I think the zombies film is good in some ways. It's just depends what you expect, really.
That opening kitchen scene is way too profane to the start of it.
Love her.
I like it. I want to see that profanity. I do. I like it.
You want to see that profanity?
I do. I like his.
There's some audio sensory thing going on there. I don't know.
I like his guts. He has a lot of guts. I mean, it is hard to watch, but that's why I like it, because
it's hard to watch if you're a Caucasian guy.
You should sample it, Jamie, and put it on your phone or something. When you,
Jamie, what is your favorite line in that kitchen scene from William Forsythe? Oh God! I have to know this. What is his favorite? What is your favorite line from William Forsythe?
Monty just wants to hear you talk dirty. That's all that's going on right now. I just want this clear.
No.
Don't mention chicken
I
abortions.
wouldn't do that. No.
No, I can't pick a line out because I cannot remember the dialogue very well. But
I do.
I do remember it being vulgar and me liking that.
Was it skull fuck?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I will
No,
skull
but
fuck you.
you
yeah.
basically think it added to the sort of.
I just want to point
the
out that Cameron
backstory,
has
you
his
know,
kid
of-
with him. We might want to ixnay on the skull fuckery.
But I always remember the Michael Myers. He had like obviously a wig on, the boy, and it was like, even for someone from who lives down south, you know, I imagine that was like excessive. Like looking at it, it looked like a wig. They should have actually got a real child from down, you know, in the south, and used him.
Just
or something.
taking him. No one would have missed him.
But I don't not taking him literally off the road somewhere, but you know, it's.
It's natural,
I
you know.
like-
I don't do it.
I like his effort. I like his effort to show how serial killers are born. I like it. It was.
But
I thought it was good.
But that's it. That's right there. That you actually.
We didn't.
hit
I mean,
the
if they'd
problem.
actually shown that, that would have been better, like in the Tin Drum.
No,
You know,
I love the
him
Tim
coming
Drum,
out
but no.
of the actual vagina.
But here's the thing. Like to me, Michael Myers is not a serial killer. He's a monster. He's the boogeyman. And when you explain in a realistic sense, you take everything that makes a character scary and just flush it away. You make him into a dime a dozen serial killer, and he's so much more. The whole point of the original film is that Loomis is telling the audience and everyone else he can come across, no, this is not just a kid with a knife. He's something else. He's this creature. He's been waiting inhumanly for years and years. He builds him up to this plateau of like this ultimate evil, but no one around him believes him. So that at the end, when he spoilers for a movie everyone's seen 7 times, when he shoots him 7 times off the balcony and you see the body's gone, it validates what he's been saying the whole time, that he's not just a serial killer. So the whole point of the first film is undone by Rob Zombie saying, let's have him torture pets.
No, it should be like the Shape, not like the Shape of Water or something, but just basically appearing and then disappearing with music, and that the whole film basically be that. Like, but then shots of him also walking.
And I'm with you guys that the music. I'm with you guys that the music was good, but then Lost Themes came out, and I was like, holy shit, Carpenter, he's still got a lot left when he was gaming it up playing Dead Space. Like, that's
But
I
you
love
know,
Dead Space.
I do want to say that is at least me as a Halloween fan, because I love the original. That's my favorite horror movie. And even some of stuff in the original 1982, the stalking is the fun stuff. Like the stuff like where he's attacking Leo Rossi in the background and he's doing all this and she's just getting herself together, where there's 2 things going on at one time. So you're seeing one person in focus. The background is blurred. There wasn't even any of that kind of stuff. I'm like, could you have at least sprinkled it with Carpenter isms? You didn't have to imitate it, but just the stalking is the fun. And I might also add that the movie's focus is all over the place. It's everywhere. So you kind of hop back to Malcolm McDowell. His eyes will deceive you. These eyes will deceive you. Then he's his buddy. Then he hates him.
Yeah, and that can I just actually say that was actually after I had urinated next to Malcolm McDowell in Bradford. We were stood next to each other.
They weren't even in a bathroom, by the way. They were just like out on the town.
That's a premiere of Orange.
I want anyone who watches this show or listens to it on podcast to not take anything out of context and watch the whole show from anything anyone
I
has ever
apologize for
said.
interrupting, but yeah, I mean Malcolm McDowell is a really good actor, but it's just quite hilarious how he appears in all these kind of really, well, you know, horrors basically, and you know, not that there's anything wrong with horror, obviously, but you know what I mean.
They're paycheck films, and there's nothing wrong with
he was
that.
in Milk Money.
But you know, he's so much of a fantastic actor that I will say I think there's sprinkles where he's good. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff with the kid in the mental hospital, like I thought there was some sweet stuff there.
It's pretty good. That's why I was talking about the hair. You know, it was like. But,
when he was announced, I thought that they nailed it. But then when I saw the actual film, I felt that it was a miscasting. Because originally, of course, Christopher Lee was the concept for Loomis. And then they ended up with Donald Pleasance. But look at the actors they were choosing. Look at the gravitas. So it wasn't just a great actor they needed. Because they could have gotten, listen, hypothetically, in a perfect world, they get Gary Oldman. He's still wrong.
Yeah.
But they needed someone that felt like that World War weary doctor. Not not a superhuman exaggerated version. the real thing, and that's
he purposely did not watch the original Halloween so that he would not copy Donald Pleasance. He said he didn't want it to be like Donald Pleasance. He wanted it to be his own. So he purposely has never seen, or hadn't, at least up to the point.
I thought he was pretty good at it, to be fair. But is this all? Are you leading on to talk about the new Halloween films, or? Sorry if I just I'm a bit.
No, I'd prefer not to go there because then everyone's blood pressure is really going to go rise.
Oh yeah, I still have flashbacks from my first show. Okay.
I didn't mind. I mean, I went to see it and I thought it was okay. So
I enjoyed it for what it was.
But I thought Jamie had a good point on the fact that McDowell was talking about making it his own. But those are all the scenes where McDowell is the best when it's his own. When he starts doing Donald Pleasance rudimentary sense of life or death, and it's just like, nah, I'm not feeling this. I'm not. But when it's his own, it's really good.
I just think it's one of those cases whereas it's hard to judge a performance when everything else is going wrong. So you gravitate towards what's good, so it might be ballooning up what was right, but there's just so much to me that doesn't work. Listen, he was completely betrayed in the second film with the characterization. That has nothing to do with his performance. It's just what they did with the role. It's just.
I think he was trying to show.
Beat it out of you.
I think he was trying to show exploitation and how people, doctors, they exploit. They think they're helping. They start out with good intentions, and then they always end up being seduced by money or seduced by fame, and that was what they were trying to show with him there, I think.
Right. I think you're 100% right. My question is, does that make sense in the narrative that they actually created? And I'd say no. There's a difference between intentions and what the final result is. The Cat People remake is another example of that. The intentions of the Cat People remake is awesome. The film is not. And I just feel that. What's that, Griffin?
Malcolm McDowell's in both of them.
That's true.
Oh, yes.
So Cameron has returned to a more familiar setting, less mobile.
Yeah. There we go.
Let's move on from Halloween only because we'll just not leave Halloween unless we do. Yeah, and unfortunately, because there's another film coming out next year, or maybe a little sooner, we will probably be talking enough about Halloween for the rest of our lives. But believe me, we have enough bad remakes to still go. Fright Night.
God damn. I love the remake. I own it. I own a copy. I bought it when it first came out. I really, really love the remake. I do. I think Colin Farrell is awesome. And he's scary and devious and sinister, and I like
he's the best part about it, because the movie starts, and at first I was excited because Marty Noxon wrote the script, and anybody who knows Marty Noxon, she is one of the main co-writers and also one of the main executive producers of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And so I thought, well, she'll know how to bring this to a whole new generation. And I think the problem is that it starts really interesting, but by the time it's over, it's kind of forgettable. And the most memorable moment is this like 360 car crash scene, and that's about it.
Yeah, and is that a good thing for a Fright Night movie?
I don't think so.
I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The only part. Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
It's all yours, Mike.
Okay.
The only thing I really liked about the remake, I liked how he set up in the basement. Oh, sorry.
No, what I was going to say was, I think one of the things with the Fright Night remake is that going back to the 85 one, in comparison to two, is that in the 85 version, it had this really kind of sarcastic kind of everybody is making fun of the material, not making fun of material, but they're making fun but playing it straight. And it was a really tricky balance because all the actors were skilled. You had Chris Sarandon and you had Roddy McDowell, who are they're just dry. I mean, everybody's good in that original movie. Also, the remake was not sexy. There's no sexiness in it. Like Jerry Dandridge, like Colin Farrell, I love Colin Farrell, and I do think he has kind of an off-kilter sexiness of Chris Sarandon, but Chris Sarandon could just sit there and just smile, and you just know, like, yeah, the clothes are just coming off. Colin Farrell is kind of more like, I might have to talk you into taking your clothes off. but I could get
don't know.
along.
I think it's all a matter of taste.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jamie, go ahead. I want to hear it. Do you think Colin Farrell could be more sexier than Sarandon?
Colin Farrell could get my clothes off real quick.
Oh! Well.
If the girl was underage, we'd have a problem.
Well, that's usually true, isn't it?
Far from that.
Well, that's a
You need to watch The Lobster, Jamie. So.
I know. I keep being told that.
He's got a bit of a belly in that one, and so I was like really into it because I thought that's me. Then I realised that was not actually me in the film. And it also was my
you
close
cannot join
personal
the call.
friend,
Thank you.
You and Macintosh. So. It's a good film, but anyway, it's not really horror, so it's kind of going off topic too much.
I don't think it's horrible. The Fright Night remake. I mean, there's a lot of Colin Farrell's good, and the guy who the David Blaine, David Copperfield version of David Tennant. I mean, I actually thought he was really good. I like the way he played his role.
Me too.
Yeah, I thought he really played that very well. I thought that was a nice twist on Roddy McDowall's version too. You know, they were both a-holes.
Mm-hmm.
What? Sorry.
I just feel like that's a role that should have
been. What's an a-hole?
Oh, an asshole.
We try not to swear.
I don't know why, because I never put that rule out there. But so my thing is, I think that role should have been someone who was already kind of established in the horror genre, like Roddy McDowall. I think Hell House, right?
Yeah.
So that's my that makes sense. A horror host, okay. Like David Tennant is best known as Doctor Who. That's not really the same thing. And I just don't think there was much to the role as written for him to really do something with. But I would have preferred it to be someone like not Robert Englund, but a Robert Englund. If someone associated with the genre where you'd be like, that makes sense, he belongs in that box.
Yeah, they're just trying to appeal to a more mainstream audience.
Because he was just in he was just in the 4th Harry Potter movie, so they thought the whole magic would somehow.
See, I've never seen any of those.
Who did he play in the
Well,
Harry Potter movie?
it was it came
They're
out right
pretty
before
intense horror. So.
the Fright Night, and it was just the popularity of him kind of striking out, doing different roles.
I don't think he's bad in it. I think the Fright Night remake is well acted in general. The problem is it doesn't have any, and I'm not a huge fan of the original. Like a lot of people are shocked by that, but it always just seemed like a little bit too rubbery special effect for me of a film. But the remake just feels flat to me. This just feels flat, and not particularly. Look, no film is necessary, right? We will continue to breathe just fine without any movie existing.
I differ on that. I think something like The Thin Blue Line or Paradise Lost, I think, are very important because they got people out of jail.
Yeah, but you know what? I actually think that Paradise Lost might have got the wrong people out of jail. So,
ooh.
Anyway,
no, but The Thin Blue Line and things like that,
Thin Blue Line, I
think
can't argue with.
Yeah,
but I think that the idea behind saying a film is not necessary, though, is that. What we're saying is that everything that the original accomplished, it accomplished all its goals. It didn't leave anything on the table for a remake or a sequel to pick up and finish. And I think Fright Night, though it's not my thing, it doesn't leave anything on the table to be done. Which is the reason why the sequel, which people like, there's a reason that no one is pushing that hard for it to be back on the market above like the hardcore horror fans. Because the first film is its own thing and it's complete. It's kind of done.
And there was no way.
I'm sorry. You know, you mentioned Paradise Lost. You said that the wrong people were released.
Those documentaries are extraordinarily manipulative with the facts. And I'm not saying I know what happened, but I'm saying those documentaries are not a fair representation.
Didn't they think one of the kids like stepfather did it? They think that he's the real culprit.
So. But my thing is, and I have a big problem. I have a big problem with the idea of armchair detectiving off of media because media is so manipulatable.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's really dangerous.
Oh yeah, but they didn't release them on the basis just of the films. I mean, real detectives had to go in there. They funded. There were massive things, you know, like the Rollins band toured. You know, for the West Memphis 3 and all that kind of thing. Just
there was a lot of media interest, but that's actually part of the problem. You don't know how much political and social pressure had to do with certain decisions in certain places. All I'd say is
that's
that
life, you know.
Well, sure it is, but I'm just not sure that. I think it's a destructive trend when we start basing public policy on movies. And in its own small way, I just think it's a dangerous thing. I disagree on this case, and I mean, it's not really like what we're here for, so I don't really want to go too deep. But by the time they were talking about turtle bites instead of, as defensive wounds, we have a problem. I have a serious problem.
Yeah, so that wasn't Paradise Lost. That was
one of the sequels.
West of Memphis.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Oh, yeah.
But whatever. I'm just not.
I mean, those movies made that case huge.
It did, and to the point where no one is objective about it anymore. And I guess that's really what I'm saying.
Okay, I was just trying to make a point that movies have gotten people out of jail, so I thought they were important.
And I mean, if it's a documentary, it's supposed to be based in truth. So I don't think that you can call it a movie per se. Just a documentary is a documentary.
Well, but
just like Blair Witch 2, that is also that happened.
And I think that's the point. Like at a certain point, though, like remember when JFK came out? I know, Cam, that's right in your wheelhouse. A lot of people were criticizing the film because it blurred the truth because it was shot like a documentary. And
which I think that shows you how many morons there are in America or the world. But
that's my point. That's my point exactly. So a movie can sway public opinion. That's a dangerous thing in a way. I'm not for censorship, but I'm for keeping our level heads about things.
Lauren, you want to know the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life? Hang on, I'll let you, one sec. I have to say this. I saw Inglourious Bastards on the 16th Street in Denver, like on opening night, right? So I saw this and people were Googling, did Hitler actually die this way with Eli Roth shooting him with a machine gun, like in the theater? I was like, and I was like 20 at the time. I was like, oh my God, you got it, please. Am I really in this world right now? Like, if I died right now, it's fine.
Somebody asked Tarantino about that. They said, well, this is like a what if fantasy. He's like, no, this is not a what if fantasy. This is what would have happened if my characters actually existed.
I'm not talking race. I'm not talking male or female. They were all just like, wow, this is so amazing. Did he really die this way? And I'm just like,
I just want to make it clear that Lee Harvey Oswald did not act.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was walking out. I was like, I don't even know what to say. Like my brain went numb after that. I was like, I like the movie, and then I was like, what? I was like, I don't.
Well, those are probably people who are completely inundated with the internet and not reading books and other things.
But how do you get out of high school without even like?
Oh, there's a lot of them, man.
Have you walked the street recently?
They don't want you to be 25 in the 12th grade.
It's probably because see, they took the test. They might have gotten an okay grade at the time because they wrote what they had to, but then they thought in their head, well, I don't need to know this stuff, so they just forgot it.
A lot of people are incredibly gullible. They don't really teach you about Hitler's suicide in history class.
No.
Yeah, that is
true. Yeah, but I mean, a guy in a movie theater with a machine gun, I think is how.
I think it's maybe a case of they wanted it to be true almost, and also some people actually like approach people from soaps if they see them, and they're like calling them by the character's name and then accosting them for whatever something bad they've done or something. That happens in this country, but So.
Yeah.
So Brian Hodge has a tremendous novel called Mad Dogs, which is completely about a guy who does a recreation of like an unsolved mysteries type of thing about a crime, and so he just gets hunted by people on the street that think he's the guy he was portraying, and it's about exactly what we're talking about. It's amazing.
Okay. That's crazy.
Not a horror novel; it is a crime novel, but it also has a wicked satirical streak through it. All right, so let's blaze through some movies here.
Yes.
1999's The Haunting.
Ugh,
never seen it.
Horrible.
I have heard lately that people like that, but I clearly remember I was a junior in high school when that came out, and I remember that got horrible reviews. And I remember people coming out the theater saying it was trash.
Another movie, Monty. Another movie people hated.
What's that?
Bram Stoker's Dracula. Everyone hated that movie.
Right, I remember that. I remember
and now
when
it's
they came out.
Coppola's last masterpiece.
And I remember I hated Bram Stoker's Dracula. When I first saw it on HBO, I was like, okay, wait, he's a wolf. He's screwing a chick with red hair. Keanu Reeves is like being screwed by women who are attached to each other. What's
Keanu
going on?
Reeves is being screwed by the English language.
Yeah, he was. Oh God, I'm going to
no, sir.
No,
I
I'm
will
going to
not.
Dracula's castle.
We talk about this
I know
all the
the
time.
bastard
That
sleeps.
Scream Factory bringing back all these movies, which is great for collectors and stuff. But the problem is that not every movie has a revisionist history. 13 Ghosts, House of whatever, House on Haunted Hill, or these movies. Nobody liked them at the time. If it had Dark Castle Presents, no one liked those movies, right?
The Haunted, I didn't like. House on Haunted Hill remake, I liked.
So do I.
Oh, yeah,
but the rest of them are trash.
Oh, come on. You guys don't love Ghost Ship?
I have a copy. I love it.
All together in one piece. The first 5 minutes are great. The rest of the movie, awful. Everyone has the same opinion.
But see, Jamie, I think that sometimes, and I'm not saying this to be like rude at all, but I think sometimes like you like horror, and so when you see a film, if it's even in the genre, and you kind of there's anything that like you latch onto, that's like automatic, like, wow, that's cool.
Jamie, you like horror?
I mean,
I do.
No, I'm just saying, like, it just seems like you like.
It's because first of all, I've seen these particular movies over and over and over and over and over again. Because it's okay. I didn't mind, because back then I was in the middle of being pregnant. First I was planning my wedding, and then I was doing my wedding, and then I was pregnant, and then I was moving. And so while I was doing all these things, HBO, Showtime, they were always on in the background. And I got used to watching these movies, and I just grew to like them. I can find something good even in things that I hate. It's just in my nature.
But I find it funny when there's 1,000 comments.
The Manson murders.
What?
Find something good about the real life Manson murders. Go.
I'm talking about movies, though.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
said it in
talking
anything.
about-
I just assumed it would be fun.
I just find it funny whenever
Lauren throws a
Scream
challenge.
Factory always just like you read the thousands of comments like, I love this movie, and someone's like, oh, I didn't, and they're like, well, they're not putting out this movie for you. It's like,
well, that's true. They're not wrong.
I ain't spend $30 for it.
They're putting it out for someone. But I mean,
actually saw that they have a special edition of Final Exam. I was like, really? Final Exam?
It's marketing.
get on
It's
that.
like, I think if you watch these films repeatedly, like Jamie's doing, you become able to appreciate the layers of mystery, etc.
I could say I watched Final Exam on YouTube, and it just made me remember when I rented it from the video store when I was like 8, and that was the fun part.
Or I could argue, James, that the onslaught of being beaten over and over and over again in an alleyway by these movies makes you convinced, like, okay, you're good, I like you.
So Cameron is going with the Stockholm syndrome approach to film.
I chose to watch them. I mean, I chose to have
Jamie
it on
was
the-
hitting
I can
yourself on the
stop
head with
whenever I want.
Yeah.
Well,
How
know,
come
it's
people
choice.
like The Haunting remake? How?
It's trash.
Aside from Owen
20 years
Wilson's
goes
head
by.
get knocked off. Spoiler.
It's got Liam Neeson in it.
Exactly,
It's an excellent
It's not a great movie. It didn't age well. It's got terrible CGI, but I just enjoyed it for what it was. It didn't bore me.
I think people
bored.
like it now because the cast is so young and they're all names. So people go, oh, that's kind of cool to see all these people. It's like I Know You Did Last Summer. I Know You Did Last Summer. And yet now I can watch it and be okay with it because all of them became semi-famous. But at the time, I don't know who the hell
they're
they
even
were.
more famous now than they were then.
Right. So
I love in that movie. I love in I Know What You Did Last Summer that
Freddie Prinze Jr. is bloody massive now.
When Jennifer Love Hewitt does that, the hills have music spin, and she screams up at the sky. It's just the most preposterous moment ever in film history.
I could speak as a teenager at the time, being 15 when that came out. We loved that scene in the theater.
I'm
like
sure
when she
you
was
did.
like, "What are you waiting for?" We were like, "Oh God, yes! Oh, what a fantasy! Oh God!"
Because of
And then Carrie movies, like, what the fuck am I waiting for? Or if it was
I think they
Secret
put it in the
Emotion.
second one too, where she said it again, and
that's why they call it Jennifer Huge Tits.
See, I
And
love the
then it's like, what
second
am I
film
waiting
because
for?
they're not even trying anymore, and I'm like, I'm
That
just
was
in
an
my-
illusion, though. She didn't have actually huge bosoms. It was called push-up bra, which is
Jack Black uncredited as the Rastafarian.
That was a masterpiece.
Oh, yeah, he was
compared to
playing
I'll
Gary
Always Know
Oldman
What
in
You
True
Did-
Romance.
That was a masterpiece compared to I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, which I bought at Big Lots 10 years ago for $3. Oh my god!
The mark of quality is being the
That's a
pick up
good
a phone at
purchase.
Big Lots.
Yeah, it's every Steven Seagal movie, and then every movie that never made it to Blockbuster before it closed down.
Steven Seagal is an excellent actor, I think.
Yeah.
Make sure you buy your copy of The Patriot.
Hey, I mean,
Come on, the Glimmer Man is better than Under Siege.
I agree with that.
I got
I
above the
do
law,
agree
but
with
then
that because I can laugh and smile during one of them.
I got above the law, which was here, and then I went to I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, and then it was like depression, like over way down here. You can't even see it. It's so low. That's
where the Haunting
my big
remake
lost
goes?
adventure. Yeah, and that's and then barbecue sauce and everything else you need.
But you guys can't say that. At least there are some good aspects to I Know What You Did Last Summer. I thought the build-up when they hit him and threw him in the river, I thought that was actually pretty cool.
No, look, it's an okay movie, right? The
It was
third act
nice.
makes no sense whatsoever. But at the time, coming right off of Scream, it felt like 3 steps back. Okay.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
I'll say this with going off of Monty and what Cameron are saying. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Valentine, and Urban Legends. I like Urban Legend, whatever the first one was called. I like those 3 films along with.
So you are Scream Factor's bread and butter right now, my friend.
Right now.
And you know what?
no,
All
nope.
3 of those films are better than The Haunting remake.
That's very true. That's very true.
Valentine is an underrated movie. I like it a lot.
So
Very, very good.
one of my fantasies is that we could bring Shirley Jackson back to life and sit her down in a movie theater.
That would be
Show 1999's The Haunting and watch her
you're
cry.
a cruel.
See, Cameron, I'm Scream I'm Scream Factory / Shout Factory's bread and butter, but I need to buy bread and butter, so that's the difference.
Well,
that's the
I
difference.
was shocked last night. I put in the chat that now that they're reissuing They Live as a 4K, and they're going to start now putting all their old titles now in 4K. So Lauren is correct. All of you out there who are buying the Friday the 13th box set, within 2 years, they're all coming out in 4K by Scream Factory.
Well, if the format's still alive, that's my caveat to that because I do
Yeah.
believe that I do believe that Blu-ray and 4K will be gone within probably 3 years completely. So.
No, I'm all for 4K Blu-ray, but that means you got to get a new TV and you got to get a new player.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not doing
They
that.
won't be gone if
And
you
I'm
go
not
around to
doing that.
Cameron's.
And I'm not doing
Now the PS5.
That's true. I'll just visit
PS5
Cameron's room for my entertainment.
But there's
The
still
PS5
market for DVDs because of the TV shows. DVDs ain't going nowhere. For the
Do you
time being.
actually live next door to Cameron, Lord?
Well, it's kind of like you have to take 2 turns.
That's what I was imagining all the time. I was thinking,
But I absolutely just run those stop signs every time because it's California, you know.
It's called a Hollywood stop.
because I can imagine you two both in that Lost Boys setting.
So basically, I take a right turn at the first forest fire and then a left at the next.
You know, with that man playing the saxophone, and then you're both watching it like, yeah,
that was
this is some good music.
And then to get to Lauren's house, well, you go straight and then you turn right where Jennifer got raped and I spit on your grave, and then you make a left at Friday the 13th Part 2. And you're there.
It's Friday the 13th Part 1, but yes, that's
for a
actually
side saying that or something.
So I live on the East Coast and I've lived on the West Coast, not in California, but way far out west where there's way more wildfires than in
Alaska?
California. No, in Colorado. So here's a good example. Okay, so Lauren, there's lots of cool movie, production places, and there's forest fires everywhere, and a lot of people, and there's NorCal and SoCal. All right, East Coast, like where Lauren is, it's like corner store, Six Flags, corner store. It's kind of like the difference right there.
Okay, Orc, you'd never survive in Jersey because you called it Six Flags. No one from New Jersey calls it Six Flags. It is Great Adventure. You just outed yourself, man. You're from Maine. Grow up.
Lauren, I've been wanting to ask you.
Whatever, man.
I've been wanting to ask you. Did you ever go to Action Park?
I had. You know what's funny? I don't know if I should be saying this out right now, but I actually am filming a thing for Lady White Rabbit's channel about Action Park. So
Really?
I not only was at Action Park, but my uncle broke a rib at Action Park.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
All the stories are true. All of them.
I bet they are.
So you wouldn't get out of the parking lot before you saw problems. Like,
And
if
they
it was
called the wave.
that
If I'm not
crazy.
mistaken, they called the wave pool the grave pool because so many people drowned, right?
Yep.
Wow.
So the way to explain that, in a normal wave pool, you'd have like a 4-inch, 4 foot level, and then it would dip down slightly, but you'd never have something like 12 feet deep in a wave pool. It's just a bad idea. Not at Action Park.
Yeah.
At Action Park, the whole thing was 12 feet deep.
And they did a movie with
So-
Johnny Knoxville.
So James, you need to go to the Wikipedia and just read the article about Action Park to start with. But there's also a great documentary you can find on YouTube. But it does not live up to the reality. One of the rides at Action Park was called the Tarzan Swing. It was a rope over a cliff.
Yep.
And if you just got too scared to do it, they pushed you.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
And you just fell into water. Now keep
This
in
is
mind,
insanity.
it was beyond insanity.
That's not
But
even the most
wait.
insane
That's not the
thing.
crazy thing.
That's
The
what they
Tarzan
do,
swing was
Jazz.
better because there was always a big line for it. So you had about 30 seconds before the next person was coming off the swing for you to get out from the zone where you landed. So
Sounds
if you
like
hit the
a great
water
day
and
out.
passed out, which happened at least once a day, someone landed on you.
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. God damn.
There's a reason it closed, dude. There was body count.
Did you go on the slide that has the loop in it?
No.
Oh my gosh, so
That
many
thing-
people got stuck in there.
Well, the thing is, that was only open for like a few days ever.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have attended the grand opening because I can imagine someone like they got someone like Seagal.
Okay.
No. You're
think
thinking,
back
of,
22
you're
years
thinking of
ago.
something with way more budget than this park.
He
has.
is a great actor.
In Denver, that they had Elitch's, which is Six Park. That's what the name was. ELITCHES, I think. And then 22 years ago, was the name the same for New Jersey or was it different?
I'm sorry, I was doing something. What did you ask?
22 years ago, was it the same name that it is now, or is it?
It was Action Park, and then they changed the name. And they went back to when they reopened like a decade later. That didn't work out well. They went back to Action Park out of the because it was so infamous. I'm going to show you something, James. I want your impression of this. First impression of this. This was a real ride at Action Park. This was that Jamie's referring to.
Yeah. Right there.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
seen that.
I would like to point out. That I just pulled up an article.
How long was
I
this
don't
place
know.
open?
I just pulled up an article on my phone that says
Everything about it
Bloodsport
looks wrong.
revisiting Action Park. Bloodsport revisiting Action Park is this article.
So the local is called Attraction
Uncle
Park.
Van Damme going down the slide. Like, what does it look like on your phone?
That's not real. I can't believe it.
It is real. It was still there. Well, I've never seen. I never
What,
had
do you
seen
go
it
down on
open.
it? You know, like on a.
It ain't fake news, people.
Wait. Did you go fast enough to actually make it in that loop at the
No
bottom?
one did.
Not well.
They all got stuck,
If
and then
you
got hit by
watch-
the next person.
Yeah, if you watch the
Oh,
documentary, they got their employees drunk, and then they told their employees, "We'll pay you a little extra if you'll try the ride out," because the dummies kept getting like broken up and crashed up
It
on
was
the
this
inside.
park designed by, you know,
Some crazy people that
kind of-
they had to build a hatch in the top part of the loop so that they
Some
could
kind
get
of
people that got
sadist.
stuck out. Yeah, you can. It's on the documentary. You can look it up.
I'm gonna show another
I'm
photo
so
of
glad
that
I
same
decided
attraction
to
in a
stay.
second. But so one of the things is they couldn't get insurance, so the owner of the park simply started his own insurance company and insured himself.
Yeah,
That's crazy. No, that's insane.
That's what's actually a
Look at the
pipe.
little kids. Oh my god.
Looks like a
Now-
sewage pipe or something.
When I was young, I could have gone through that and made it out just fine. But
I
knew
remember
a
me
lot
and
of
my
people
friends
couldn't.
spent
You
some
could
time.
get
James,
my
where do you think
Don't
they
make
got the
fun of fat
material?
people, okay, Jamie? All right?
What?
Don't make fun of
my
fat
fat ass
people,
gets
okay?
stuck halfway. You can get.
It's more
So-
because I was tiny and light, and I could go. Phew. That's
Okay,
why.
Yeah,
so there's-
no, me is what I'm saying.
Me.
Fat-
So,
not
but,
making
so
fun of anybody.
from your from
You
the
would
parking
have been
lot,
like a bullet coming out of it, Jamie.
Probably,
from
yeah.
the parking lot, you could see their first attraction, which was called the Alpine Slide.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put up this photo of this, and then I'm gonna explain why this is more dangerous than it looks.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen footage of that.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
That's
and
crazy.
So what these are imagine snow sleds
As a
on concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
I've seen
delightful.
this.
Now there was brakes, but all the brakes were slabs of plastic that you could manipulate with your feet. But if you touched them, you did a somersault off of it because you were moving too fast and ended up probably with a broken arm on the side of the thing.
Yeah.
How high were you up when they dropped you?
This is so to explain. This was built on a former ski slope.
Mm-hmm.
That is just it's insania. It's like holidays in hell or something.
Give me a season pass. Let's fucking go, boys.
This is what I'm saying.
Let's do it.
You'd
So
regret it. Let me tell
I
you.
was at Action Park about 6 times, and
No way.
Yeah. And my uncle took us, and I remember going down the water slide, and that water slide there was not a straight water slide. It had ridges in it, which is a bad idea because you'd come off a ridge and you'd be in the air, and then you'd hit the next rung and you'd start tumbling.
Yeah.
So that happened to my uncle, and he actually ended up there was a small pool at the bottom of it, which was like 6 feet deep as well, which is also not a good idea. But he ended up partially on me, clutching his midsection. He got taken to this portion of this tent, which was easily larger than the eating pavilion, which was the medical bay. And like there was literally just beds and beds and beds and cots, just as far as you could see, with people like being nursed back to health. It was.
I have to interrupt. What year was this approximately?
82 to 91, maybe.
Wow,
oh my god,
that's insane.
Yeah.
There's a full length documentary on YouTube you can watch. So you don't need to believe me about anything.
Wasn't there an attraction about kayaking? A kayak attraction or something? I don't know, but the funniest death, if such a thing exists, is the kid who got electrocuted on the boat ride. That's
because there was an electrical wires in the water that broke, and it just electrified the entire lake. The kid fell off the boat and got electrocuted.
Yeah.
In the park.
Killed him.
That's sick, man.
Didn't
That's
2
crazy.
people jump in and try to save him too, and they also got electrocuted?
Yeah, but they didn't die.
Not die.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wait. So nobody was just like, "Hey, somebody help them." They were just like, "Let's just go in." That's
They
cool.
didn't realize
was
what they were
coming up to
getting
the
into.
boat like
And also, so this is
America.
Vernon, New Jersey, which is the Playboy Club is near it. The former Playboy.
I really
Club.
think it's time for a reboot of that.
Well, it reopened, but it's reclosed now.
Yeah, they reopened for a bit, but they closed again because they're famous for this, and I think
Basically
they're even
more
in the
deaths.
Guinness Book
They
of World
renamed it
Records.
It reopened the late 90s as Mountain Creek Water Park.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Now
This is
there's
how we
6
try to
feet
curb
distance.
the
Wow.
population in America.
I find it quite unbelievable. Like we have theme parks here, like Alton Towers, and people have had limbs amputated, or I don't know about deaths, but and then the people still go back the next year. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, hey, we just got to try.
James, dead serious? They would be pulling people out to take to the attraction 10, and people would be like, "Could you move them faster? We want to go down the slide."
Wait, real quick.
It's
Cameron,
Jersey,
you
man.
know-
They don't care.
Cameron, you would know the
Jersey
answer to
way.
this. I
I'm
think
like,
maybe
are
a
you
lot of you would.
fucking high?
What's the question?
Like at Disney World or Disneyland, Disney World in Florida and Disneyland in California, if someone's having like a stroke or something and they just fall to the floor, don't they just like drag you off instantly or something?
Well,
Because they don't want everyone
Buzz
to.
Lightyear comes up, picks you up.
I do know that if you accidentally drop anything on the ground, within if you just quickly turn around, it's already gone, because even just plain clothes people work for Disney and they just casually just sweep it up real quick.
Damn.
It's that fast.
I think they would have much better care.
I heard if there was any problem though, they just
There's-
instantly remove you, whether it's a gunshot or like hopefully that never happens.
Well, there's
Or-
underground. There are underground.
Come on.
There are underground tunnels.
Like if someone goes in and starts randomly firing guns into the air.
There has to be underground tunnels because that's how they get the characters to go across the park without you seeing them. So.
Yep. So they don't have to get out of character.
The greatest thing about those characters is they're not allowed to take the heads off in public ever, even if they vomit.
Yeah.
Oh, and 105
Keep thinking
degree
about it,
heat?
friends. It gets worse.
110-degree weather. Holy shit!
Hey, I saw a lady passed out at Universal Studios in Florida after the Transformer ride, where you're just looking at a screen. This lady was like, she was like at least like 70. She was passed out in the damn souvenir store. It was like
Get her a
this.
blizzard.
I
This is
remember
like
one time
August.
Wet
in Florida.
Movie did a video.
That's the effect it can have on you going.
What's that?
All right, so
I
let's
mean,
go back to
if
the
we went
remake.
to Disneyland, I don't know how I'd react, but I would try and go on like, the most scary stuff and then be like, that was really scary.
I'd look like Alice from Friday the 13th, running around the entire time, scared of everybody.
I know
in costume.
Cameron has been to Disneyland many times.
So what I want to do, because we're not going to get through my list. So what I want to do is I want to run through these titles, and I just want you guys to audibly make sounds or express your opinion. I'm just going to keep rolling through them, okay?
Yep.
Initiation of Sarah.
Never heard of it.
Haven't seen.
It's Alive, 2009.
Dog shit.
Martyrs.
Trash. Dog shit. Complete trash.
Night of the Demons.
Ugh.
Haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it.
Night of the Living Dead 3D with Sig Haig.
I have seen that actually.
Okay, I just want to say that Night of the Demons, that duo who wrote and directed that movie, they must be like the luckiest duo in horror history, because they get to write the Three Mothers movie, the mother of whatever the last one is,
Mother of Tears.
Mother of Tears. They get to do Night of the Demons, and then they did some other one too. They wrote the Toby Hooper movie. What was that remake he did? The one in the apartment building. Toolbox Murders.
Oh,
and it's like, my goodness. And then no one's ever heard from him since. So,
okay, so this might be a big mistake, friends, but we're going to try and see if Jonathan is really Jonathan. Hello. That answers that. All right. Al's still trying to get on, but he's having some problems. All right. So, Not of This Earth. Does everyone remember the remake of the 57 flick with Tracy Lords?
No.
Nah. Don't worry. It's not. You didn't miss anything. How about the Omen remake?
It was okay. It wasn't bad. I actually liked it.
Too much CGI.
Any movie with Julia Stiles makes me want to jump out the window like Alex in A Clockwork Orange.
You don't like Julia Stiles?
She's one of the worst actresses of all time.
Oh.
What?
I like her in the Bourne sequels.
To be honest, Liev Schreiber was miscast.
She didn't do anything.
Yeah, he's usually very good, but there was nothing to do there.
He seemed like too young for that kind of role, and
well
she
played
was as well. But,
So, James, let me ask you this.
See The Last Dance.
Don't you think everyone feels too young anymore? Like, we don't have those veteran actors that actually look their age anymore.
I know. There's not even a Gene Hackman, like someone who looked older even when he'd started, sort of thing.
We need a new Paul Walker.
Do we?
Well, he looked young.
Do we really?
I live my life one meme at a time, baby. Let's go. Continue.
All right.
I think there's no replacement for Clint Eastwood, basically, is there?
No. It's like that generation of actors.
Al, did the bees chase you off?
I think we have staff
problems, man. Can you hear me? Testing.
It's a Moby remix, but yeah, we got you.
Oh man, yeah,
So One Missed Call.
Oh.
We all wish we missed it.
Horrible.
I forgot that I saw this one. Does everyone remember that in 2013 there was a Patrick remake?
Mm-mm.
There was. It's awful. It's awful. The great Aussie shocker from 78 or 9, Patrick, was remade, and it's horrible.
Was the remake Australian as well?
I don't think it was.
Yeah, the originals are actually quite a good film. Even though it's a bit, perhaps sort of hard to find a good copy of it. I think.
Same director.
Have you ever seen the sequel? Have you ever seen the sequel? Patrick Lives Again? Oh my god, it's so pornographic. It's not funny. You'll never look at pool cue.
I would probably find that one somewhat enjoyable.
It's pretty not sexy at the same time being pornographic, which is an achievement.
Sounds pretty ideal for me, to be honest.
Okay, there you go.
That's the kind of thing I like.
Poltergeist 2015.
Fucking hated it.
That movie
made
me so angry. And they put a priest in there to replace.
It makes the third one look good.
And I love
Isn't
Sam
Jared Harris
Rockwell.
playing the priest?
The original Poltergeist is a classic, so
Yeah.
in my
The
opinion.
remake was
The
pretty.
second one is fucking scary. It's terrible.
The second film is great, except for that ending, man. If they got rid of that other side ending where the family's love saves the day, that movie would be, in my opinion, far superior to the first. That
Pulling
ending
people into puddles is not that scary, is it? In the third one,
I want to ask one stuff right quick. Do you remember Shirley MacLaine did a horror movie back in the early 70s? The Possession of Joel something.
Joel Delaney.
Yeah, that movie fucking I saw that the other day. Fucking
Yeah, some people really like that. But it's very difficult to find a good copy of it here, and it's also sort of very, very 70s. But is it actually good then?
It's not bad. It's creepy.
Where'd you find it?
No comment.
Like I like Audrey
He found it illegal.
Rose, for instance. Does anyone like Audrey Rose?
I like
Did I
Audrey Rose. Yes.
Did I get a Blu-ray release out?
I don't think I've ever seen
it.
It's got Anthony Hopkins in it. It's another possession type film, but not really, your typical possession thing. More reincarnation type of idea.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. You know another one. No one talks about the reincarnation of Peter Proud.
No.
No one talks about it, and they should.
I'm interested in all these possession films, but I'm not saying I've seen them all. It's like, because it's just so difficult to find things in this country.
James, what do you think, real quick, of The Last Exorcism? The first one, not the shitty second one.
I like the ending of the second one a lot.
Me, I don't think I've even seen The Last Exorcism, to be fair. Sorry.
Really?
I've seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose, for instance, and I just sort of gave up. I think it became like a bit of a joke also at one point with me and Cameron, where was Eli Roth involved with those films? And we were into like John Campion and stuff. And
yes,
there was The Last Exorcism 2 or something, and I can't remember what the joke was, but anyway, it was
a never-ending story joke. It was, if the first one was the last, how can there be another?
Yeah, and it was just like back on then when it was on AMC Movie Talk or whatever it was then, like they'd be coming out with all these movies going, you've got to get excited about it. It's The Last Exorcism Part 2. Or also one called like Speed Racer, was it? That was...
I think it was because you wanted to go to Comic-Con, and instead of having John Campia like autograph a DVD, you were gonna just read The Exorcism to him and try to unpossess him.
No, but it involved all the other
to do.
people on it, like Amy Rose Eisenbach, who I had sort of an obsession with, and then but she's gone offline and gone pretty much off the grid. I don't know why, but
so what does people think about Prom Night 2008?
Sucked.
It's pretty bad.
Bad when Jamie's immediately saying sucked.
I would have thought that Brittany wrote, or is that Brittany Snow? Brittany Snow's in that movie, right? She's the star of it. It had a good trailer. I'll say that it because the trailer makes it look like they actually put some money into it.
Brittany Blow.
If it would have been a movie on its own without the Prom Night, name, it might have been better. But it wasn't Prom Night to me.
I think most people hate Prom Night. I think most horror fans hate Prom Night, don't
they? Did they actually think it would be better than the first one, or even compared to the first one?
No, but I think there's plenty of room for it to be better than the first one. I don't think the original film is that great a film. I think we have good memories of it, and everyone remembers that final scene. But there's a lot of freaking disco dancing in that movie. There's a lot of bad teenage acting, 35-year-old teenage acting. There's a lot of melodrama. I think Mr. Roboto was speaking to me there.
Domo obrigado, Mr. Roboto.
But I think that's the type of film that probably could be remade and improved, but I don't think the remake did it.
Definitely not.
So this is gonna be an easy one. Psycho.
Sucked.
Never seen the
I
remake.
actually
but I
I
love
liked
the
it.
original.
I own it.
Didn't like the remake.
So we're talking
not at
about
all.
Gus Van Sant Psycho. Or,
Yes.
Oh,
or
the
remakes.
one with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I
Saw
think
it
it's a
once
really
in the
good film
theater
for,
and
for what it was trying to do.
It's
I didn't
Didn't like it at all.
wanted to do. The question is whether it was worth doing to begin with.
Well, I think,
Yeah, I think
Lauren,
it was worth it. Yeah.
Lauren, you've always said this. I agree, which is on paper, in theory, it sounds like a great experiment. The problem is like you see the result of the experiment, and then you go, okay, that wasn't the best thing to do. But I'm glad they at least tried it. I think the big failing of that movie is, besides the insert shots, completely cast wrong. Maybe a better cast would have made it better. Anne Hesh is no Janet Leigh, turning Julianne Moore into like a butch lesbian. Just Vince Vaughn trying to pattern himself after Anthony Perkins was a disaster.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Giving William H. Macy the same outfit when it's supposed to be modern day, and he's dressed like a 50s detective.
And he's a good actor, Vince Vaughn. He's a good actor.
He's not
just
bad.
not,
Yeah, he's not bad actor.
But
I was
he's
getting ready to
trying
say-
so hard to be sinister with that stupid laugh, and it just. I remember sitting. I was so wanting to like that movie, and I sat down in the theater, and I was like, within 10 minutes, you knew you were in trouble.
Yeah.
But I do find it interesting as an experiment, but it just doesn't work.
Was Anthony Perkins alive at that time?
No.
No, he died in
Experimenting terror.
'94. Rest in peace.
I think it was a decent attempt, and it
92,
depends
I think.
really what you're looking
92.
for.
92.
It's basically like not supposed to be set in 1998 or whenever. Specifically, it's kind of set in between that film and Psycho, and it's got a lot of atmosphere to it, and a lot of films don't have that. So a lot of horror films don't have any atmosphere, as Lauren's saying. Yeah, they're flat. They're just basically lacking something.
It feels like
that Psycho remake did have that. So
60. Wow.
It really feels like to me the kind of thing that would have been a special feature on the real movie.
Yeah, there is that, but it still holds up. I saw it in the cinema, and I think it's sort of like some people don't necessarily want to see a shot-by-shot remake. That's the thing; they want something different.
Yep.
And I actually like the insert bits, as if Cameron means, as in like the kind of shots like going up to the house, and then there's sort of these sound effects of sort of bees.
I'm talking about the cow on the road. I'm talking about the cow on the road, the woman with the mask over her eyes, the storm clouds during the shower scene.
But I think those actually achieve a certain sort of feel for me. So
no, well, the problem was those shots were not even supposed to be in the movie. The trailer came out, got such a great reception that Universal said put some of those trailer shots in the movie. So that's where they got put in.
Maybe it's it's a matter of just sort of like knowing that. If you don't know that, like when I went to see the film, it actually created this feeling of like this is your dying breath, and you're kind of seeing the speeded up clouds or whatever. And
I think Vince Vaughn,
I've heard of people who actually have experienced death, that is similar.
I think Vince Vaughn today probably would be able to do a better job than then. I think he's a better actor now.
That's true. He does
And he's not a bad actor.
No, he's a good actor. I think it's just
not at all. No, he's a great actor. He's funny.
Work. I'm going to need you to unmute for a second.
That's probably the problem people have with him in Psycho. Is he just doesn't have that sinister vibe that Anthony Perkins has. So it's got such a kind of precedent. It's impossible to reach that height.
Vince Vaughn was too goofy.
Yeah. No one's going to touch Perkins.
No.
So what do you guys think?
Perkins was in a whole league of his own.
What do you guys think about 2006 remake of Cairo, Pulse?
Never heard of it.
Never seen it. Never heard of it.
That remake of the foreign.
The only thing Pulse related I've heard is the one with Joey Lawrence. That's it.
Pulse, does that got Kristen Bell in it?
Yes, actually, it does.
Yeah.
Funny
It
enough,
was all right.
I love Shudder and I love Pulse, but I've never seen the remakes of either of them, and I don't need to, and I don't want to.
I'm going to heavily recommend you do not.
Okay.
It's pretty insulting towards the original.
I'll take a heavy pass on that one.
I think you should. Last year we saw a remake from the Sasha sisters of Rabid. Did anyone actually drop the dime on it?
I didn't see it.
You expect me to watch a Soska Sisters movie?
I like their first film. Dead Hooker in a Trunk is actually pretty fun.
I thought American Mary was dope. Pretty good.
But I can't bring myself. I'm putting it on this list because I cannot bring myself to watch them attack Cronenberg.
Sounds like Dead Sisters in the Trunk. That sounds like a porno name.
Intentionally. See the movie.
Probably is.
No, it's not. But see the movie. It's pretty subversive. I like it a lot.
It attracted Eli Roth's attention.
Lauren, roughly how many more movies do you have on your list?
Not many.
Okay, I've one that I fucking hate, and it's my most hated of all time. The Stepfather remake. The way how
it's in. Yep, that was the next one on the list after Shudder.
Okay, well, this one I saw. So I saw the first
That was
three.
terrible.
I saw the first three, and then they released it like they re-released everything, like Last House on the Left. You know, they would release it like a week or two before the new one came out in theaters. And I saw this one way before that, but then I was like, oh, they're making a remake. Saw it, and everyone was excited, and it was PG-13, and I was going, and I was like, oh man, this is not going to be good. And then it was the worst jump scares, the worst everything, and I was, to this day, I don't like Halloween 1 and 2, those remakes, but the Stepfather remake, from just how good Terry O'Quinn, was that his name?
Mhm.
How he did it. I fucking hate that film so much. The remake, it's god awful. Yeah.
And I'm just gonna plug, if you love Terry O'Quinn, you have to watch the Chris Carter's Millennium television series. He absolutely got the opportunity to prove everything you've ever thought about him as an actor in that series.
Well, he's also the star of Lost, so
Yeah.
Priorities, though.
The poster to the original Stepfather is amazing. It's just so creepy.
I love Stepfather. I really like Stepfather 2. I think the third film is probably as bad as the remake, to be honest. At that point where you're giving your character plastic surgery because you recast them, pretty lame. And then you try and basically remake the first film anyway and throw them in a wood chipper in the end. I mean, it's
the face
kind of a mess.
the face reconstruction could have worked if the third film had a better story. You would have bought it if it had like a compelling story overall.
It was gonna always, but I would have bought it if they could get Terry O'Quinn back for like a couple scenes in the beginning, maybe. Because it was so obvious why they were doing it, it just felt like a really lame sequel, you know?
Yeah. No, totally.
But then again, people defend Michael's shot-out eyes coming back in Halloween 4, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong.
People jack off to the Texas Chainsaw remake.
Did you go through Nightmare? Did you go through Nightmare? Yeah.
Oh, hated Nightmare. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a special place in hell, though. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
I
It's
walked out.
We lost Al.
We lost Al. Yep.
Yeah, we lost Al.
But the only thing I thought was interesting about the remake of Nightmare, the original idea for the original film was supposed to be what they did in the remake, but that whole fiasco at that daycare center in the early '80s. Cameron probably remembers it. The fiasco.
You mean the McMartin School thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the problem with something like a Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and even if they try and reboot it like they're apparently going to try, is that the first film is really a great film. I'd go as far as to say it's one of the great horror films of its era. The rest of the series, people are very fond of, but they're not very good films.
Five's the worst.
Well, and if everyone can pick their worst, that's not a problem. But the truth is, they're just
May I just say, though, the thing that saved the Nightmare on Elm Street remake was Rooney Mara, who set the screen alight.
She's the best thing about it by far.
She
really got awful in that movie.
Well,
I'm not saying I
and
actually like her, but she's so like subdued. It's ridiculous.
Girl,
Like, literally every scene is her just like
she's so good at it.
I think that movie has so many problems that
she is good, but
Yeah,
No.
it's
I think I like her as an actress, but hey, if we're comparing it to Rob Zombie's movies, I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
There's two things I like about the Nightmare remake: the introduction of the idea of the micro naps and the usage of the song "Dream a Little Dream."
Yes.
Or not, yeah. But other than that, they don't do anything with the micro naps, and the song choice is great, but that doesn't make a movie, and forget about it.
it's not bad. It suffers, especially at the start. It feels very, post MTV generation or whatever,
Yeah.
kind of like they're trying to
I was
appeal to the teen audience with all
I was
these,
getting ready to say
like
that.
the diner setup and everything. It looks really cool or whatever you want to call it, but at the same time, it's sort of just these long, lingering shots. Like if we have the camera just move around through all these places, and it's quite a lot of fast cutting, that does not immediately make it scary. Or just
And then it was coming.
Freddy looked horrible. That's
It was coming just off of the heels of
the
Watchmen.
I think they need to rethink the Freddy character for anything they do going forward. They got to get rid of the image of Robert Englund entirely if they go forward.
Yes.
I would keep him. I'd keep him out of frame except for very quick glimpses. I'd do the shark from Jaws without the last scene to Freddy, because otherwise it's a losing battle no matter what.
It was basically a failed reboot, wasn't it? They've done so many of these, but if it had been a big success, there would have been a second one.
It made a profit, but not much.
Well, actually, it did as well as the Friday the 13th remake. They did almost identical amounts of money in America.
Really?
But the problem with it is this: neither one had enough goodwill behind them. They realized that the fan base, the hardcore fan base, was not showing up for a sequel to either of those films in the numbers that they showed up for those films. So no one wants to be on the side of a descending franchise. So they say, well, we'll put it in mothballs. We'll try it again in 10 years. That's all.
My feeling on it was it was missing something. I had it in my head what it was missing, and now it went blank.
It lacked a certain sort of just the atmosphere and whole vibe, whatever you want to call it,
likability. It wasn't
of the original.
Imagination.
That's
why I saw the original. That's what the original had.
No, you know what it was missing, guys? Seriously? It was missing the uncanny. What scares us about these characters is when we can't quite wrap our heads around them, and we completely wrap our heads around Freddy now. That's why you got to put him back in the shadows and make him an unclear figure. The more defined you make these characters,
way too much, didn't it?
Right.
I never thought of that.
Yeah,
it made him into this kind of very just seedy, obvious deviant kind of, and it's just too blatant. Like there's no real room there for humor anymore, so it becomes just slightly depressing movie experience in some way.
That shot of him.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say the shot in the trailer where he rips off his jacket to show off the red and green sweater makes me want to puke.
Well, that's the thing. Go ahead. Sorry,
like Michael Jackson or something. It lacked character. It just didn't. It was cold and it was technical, and I just didn't enjoy it. It lacked character.
If they made a serious film about a group of little kids that ratted out this guy for doing nothing, and then he came back and started killing people and they're trying to kill them in their dreams, you could make a compelling Nightmare on Elm Street film by doing the opposite of what Wes Craven introduced. Instead of the child killer, he was wronged. You really could have done something with it, but not with those producers behind it, not with Platinum Dunes behind it.
And also, had you done that and made him innocent, you would have had a secondary villain that you could have employed in the narrative, because the real person who did the crimes could be there. I think there's a lot of opportunities to do creative things. The biggest thing I have a problem with is when you take a myth, right, which is what these things are, these urban legends, these this American modern folklore, and you take these and you over-explain them and you try and make them real. You try and ground them. You take all their energy away. And that's why a technical approach to this type of film doesn't work. You need it to feel like a nightmare, not like a film project. To me, it's very simple. The approach was completely misguided. The plot was, it was like they gave him a checklist and said, hit all these marks, please. And the screenwriters went, yep. There was just no room for that nightmare logic. And Maybe we don't even have directors like that anymore, though. I don't know.
Who the hell knows?
All right, we already went through Stepfather, 13 Ghosts. Anyone want to defend that thing?
I do, because I love Matthew Lillard. I thought he was great. I know it's not perfect movie, and it's
Shaggy.
It's kind of flashy and stuff, but that's kind of what I liked about it. And I like
Caterpillar.
This is Cassie from Kosovo.
Hey, that's a
What up, boss?
She's
that pussy wants to get out of here.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know. Sorry.
That's okay. I
The
forgot
cat
what I was
interrupted you.
saying. I was just saying, wait, what are we talking about again?
13 Ghosts.
Oh yeah. I liked it. I thought that it was flashy and stuff, but because of the storylines of the ghosts behind if you watch on the DVD, it has like a whole like behind the scenes thing about the ghosts, and tells the backstories about them. And I really, really liked that. I thought I wish they would have put more of that in the actual movie, because it would have made the movie better. And I'm sorry, but with Matthew Lillard, you can't go wrong with him. I just love him. Everything he does. It's one of my favorite of his parts that he's ever played. So
I love this poster. Oh, that's pretty damn cool.
Jamie, you should watch SLC Punk if you want to see Matthew Lillard act.
I've seen it.
Or Scooby Doo. Jesus Christ. And I'll admit, Scooby Doo.
I didn't realize that.
Hackers all the way.
I didn't
Let's
realize
go.
that Jesus Christ was in Scooby Doo. That changes the whole movie. I would have gotten away with salvation for all of mankind if it wasn't for you kids and that dog.
This sounds better than Exorcist
Matthew
2.
Lillard does a great job as
If you eat enough
Shaggy.
Scooby snacks, you will see God. So
awesome. Yeah. So the town that dreaded sundown.
I haven't seen the remake.
I want to see the original, but I just haven't had the time.
The original I love the Scream Shout All About a Boot edition. And then the remake I enjoyed. I thought it was cast all right, but the whole LGBT barbecue sauce, interjection, rainbow flags are cool. I like purple, yellow, and pink too, but it was a little overkill. A little, just give me the trumpet, dude.
there's a great documentary. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, called Killer Legends. And it's about all these like urban myths, whatever. But they go back to the town of Texarkana.
Texas.
And they say and while they're there, they get announced there's going to be a remake of the film of Town is Dreaded Sundown. And they said, "Oh, really?" And they said, "Yeah, but it's going to be about people who are watching the movie or coming here for the the ceremony of watching the movie." And they were just like, "Oh, okay."
The guy who did that. The guy who did Cropsy and then Killer Legends. Yeah. I love both of those, to go off what you're saying.
I think Orc is protesting a little bit too much about the glitter in his life.
Yeah, I think Pez did a video about the town of Texarkana. Man.
You mean the one where he badly photoshopped himself and pretended that he visited the town?
Oh, no.
Damn.
Oh.
Love you, Pez.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't say anything.
Hey, Pez.
2020 is going to be good.
What,
When
was
a
he doing it
stranger
genuinely
calls.
or as a joke?
21.
No. He really did visit the town. I'm just messing.
Oh,
yeah.
When a stranger calls. We're in the W's, guys. We're almost there.
I had to pass on this one. Please go, Jamie.
It was okay. I mean, for what it was on its own merit, without it being a remake, let's say, I thought it was pretty good. But
The kids have to die, and they show they're still alive in the damn trailer.
yeah, showing them getting out of the house and all that stuff, it ruined the original for me a little bit. Plus, in the original,
They showed the ending in the trailer.
The original, it's only the first 15 minutes. That's the good part of the movie. So they just expanded it into the remake. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. But it was okay. It was a good popcorn movie.
It's the epitome
You've
of the
now watched it
PG-13
40
movie.
times, Jamie, I bet.
Huh?
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's just
I have watched it many times while I was folding laundry or cleaning my house or doing whatever. Yeah.
You do not fold laundry. I call bullshit on this story.
I do. I do all my own stuff.
It's
I don't
just a
have
big
a maid.
pile.
Jamie
It's a pile in the basket, right?
She's
No.
proud of her.
I wash my own laundry too. So
I don't
Oh,
even
I
do
call
my laundry,
bullshit
so
on
you
that,
guys
too.
both got me beat.
I love doing it. I love doing that. Shit.
Cam, you don't do laundry, right?
I'm sure he does.
Oh yeah, no. In my household, you're responsible for your own stuff, your own dishes, your own laundry, everything.
Yep,
wish it was that way in my
I eat
house.
Tide Pods and sniff Clorox. So that's
I have to go out to the laundromat because that's all we have in the UK because we're still in 1950, you know.
It's a water-controlled city.
God save the Queen.
So, hey,
Guns
Orc,
are outlawed, but grandma bits are not.
Orc, you talk about eating the Tide Pods. Do you agree with me that Tic Tacs actually needs to make Advil flavored Tic Tacs? Because I seriously believe they do.
I mean, I think there should be like bubblegum and Tic Tacs for every kind of flavor, and soda too.
Also, why can't they just put the Tic Tac, put like all the drugs in Tic Tacs so that we enjoy eating them?
Yeah, why not have like weed Tic Tacs? Like I could use that.
Well, that exists.
Why have?
You should
That
actually
Yeah.
patent that idea or something because I can
Well,
imagine
not-
they could even make
If
a
you
film about
become
that, maybe.
rich, I want 5%.
James, not every idea is a good idea.
No, it is.
What the fuck?
Advil, the movie, or Ad Evil, or something. It's a bit like makes me think of Evil Ed. But
And if there's a sequel, we could put a number somewhere in the middle of the word. All right.
Evil Ed is a
Two
film
to go.
Cameron
We
recommended.
got 2 to go.
Okay.
We can do this.
Wicker Man.
God
Oh,
damn. Hated
The
it.
bees haven't seen it. Haven't seen it.
Me
Nicolas
neither. I've seen
Cage
obviously
is-
clips. So.
This is the
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage-
Cage.
Yeah, he's
Oh
over
my
the top as usual.
Was it
And
actually
they-
made as a joke or what? I mean,
They now say it was, but at the time they said it was a very serious remake.
Yeah, him walking through the middle of a bee farm when he's allergic to bees was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It was dumb.
well, can
And that
happen. I
part when
mean,
he
you know,
goes
it could
in
have
the
ended up at Action Park or something. So.
Exactly. That's not my Lord Summer Isle.
No.
Wasn't there a bee scene in the original? Because it's been a while since I've seen the original.
So the original is such a weird, moody musical. It really was the Midsummer of its era.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit hard to describe in modern terms. I mean, it's a scene where a girl decides to strip in the room next to the police constable that's visiting and sing a song, and it just happens very naturally in that kind of film in that period.
It sounds beautiful.
It's amazing. It's an amazing film, but it's a film that exists in a very specific time period and was probably the worst candidate for a remake ever. But
Agreed.
Now, James, you might be in a position to speak a little bit more about this. I mean, in Europe, Wicker Man is really highly considered.
The original, yeah, of course. They've even done. I think there's a new version of it, isn't there?
Wicker Tree.
Yes, and then the sequel as such. I mean, I've seen obviously the Wicker Man, the original, and enjoyed it. But I don't really have anything that much to say about it, apart from just, you know, the acting is so good from Edward Woodward, and it does have dancing around a bit naked and stuff, but there was a stand-in used, which is only for Protectland, is it? Yeah, it creates a scary feel to it overall, which is it's debatable whether they fully created that in like Midsummer, which seemed to be the longest film ever made in some way. But, you know, it felt like it, but I mean, I did like certain aspects about it, but I think it was a little bit going too far, you know, and it's sort of the sunlit uncanny, as you might say, Lorne, you know, but I don't really think it achieves that fully. It's okay though. And yeah, the original Wicker Man, it feels like it's actually really set in that place though, you know, and it really used some really decent locations. And I've got a book that mentions a lot of them called Your Face Here. It's, you know, things like Blow Up and, the park there, which I've been to in London, and you do really feel that kind of atmosphere there, and the ghosts of the filmmaking and sort of lore or whatever.
Awesome.
I have to ask really quick. Did you guys like Midsommar more or The Witch?
The Witch.
The Witch.
Yeah, the Witch as a film. I mean, not an Midsommar is more like an experience of just, can I actually watch this all?
Okay.
Sorry,
Cameron.
I like
that's
Midsommar, but it was...
that's offensive. I know, but sorry.
What?
Midsommar or The Witch? Which one did you enjoy more?
I haven't seen either. Midsommar, I'm waiting for the director's cut because everyone's saying that's the only version to watch. So
I can imagine it. Is it even longer though? Obviously,
30 minutes longer, but apparently it's like far better. So
what's the runtime now? Like 5 hours? Like
2.5 hours.
3 now.
Oh.
Will be 3. Yeah. I mean, the same thing happened with Doctor Sleep. It's a bit ridiculous. It's like, just make a mini series.
Well, they are. It's called the Bly House. It's coming out.
Yeah, but 3 hour. What? Bly House? What's that?
Haunting a Hill House is getting a sequel. The Haunting of Bly House.
Fair enough.
By the same director, Mike Flanagan.
Oh right, yeah. I'm a major fan of his, as you know. I absolutely adore Doctor Sleep.
So I know it's unbelievable, but we're to the last title. 2010's The Wolfman.
I really enjoyed it. Del Toro, and I mean, you got Hopkins, and yeah, I really liked it. The CGI sucked, but it was dope.
I would have preferred it to come out after Bram Stoker and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein instead of Wolf with Jack Nicholson. I'd rather we've gotten the Wolfman back then. Is it a great movie? No, but as one person I like to listen to on a podcast has said, for 90 minutes I was back in Universal Monsterland and it made me happy.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree with that more. Yep.
Except the claw going through the guy's face.
More so than Tom Cruise as the Mummy, which really takes me to new levels of what the hell is going on.
I haven't even Scientology my way into that one at all.
But I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but
but that's the thing is, I'm more offended by the Brendan Fraser films than I am by the Tom Cruise Mummy.
Oh God.
Well, no, at least there's
Vice
elements.
versa for
At
me.
least there's elements of horror in the Tom Cruise film. The Brendan Fraser is just pure adventure, and it's like, why would you do that to a Universal monster? Why?
It was
made
more
to appeal
entertaining than
to
Tom
a
Cruise
family
movie.
audience, aren't they? I mean, I bet there was
Yeah.
a Mummy ride somewhere, probably at Action Park. So.
No. At Action Parks, they would have actually mummified you and thrown you off a cliff or something.
Yeah,
you mentioned
shouting,
Park.
shouting me AGA.
I think they did have a mummy ride at Universal or something.
Yep, I saw. I was on it.
Jesus.
That
You
would have
mentioned
been-
Action Park, the movie
would have
that
been an
Johnny
amazing
Knoxville
experience.
did. The Action Park movie you were talking about was Action Point. It has Johnny Knoxville in it.
I was not
wondering if that was
talking
based
about
on
a
it.
movie.
Yeah, I was just we were mentioning Action Park earlier, so the movie is Action Point. That was how it was.
But that's not actually
inspired.
based on the same thing, is it? That's just got Johnny Knoxville and a bear. It's like put a bear on the poster. It's immediately hilarious.
It's a funny ass movie.
Is it? Oh well.
Yeah, it's
maybe I'm wrong, mate. I'll have to check
Action
that one
Point
out.
was based off of Action Park, and I think
There's no way it's going to be better than the original open season with animated bears.
I thought The Wolfman was good. I like Benicio del Toro, and I always love Anthony Hopkins. I didn't mind it at all. I mean, it wasn't a perfect movie, but I
And
enjoyed it.
It's Emily Blunt, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Emily Blunt looks stunning in those outfits, and if you get the right, like British actors like her, Keira Knightley, in those old time fashiony clothes, it will make your film much
I think
more
she's
elegant.
right for that kind of
sort
of like classic feel, and also say with the Mary Poppins thing remake,
I just
returns.
felt like all the elements were there for a really, really great return to form for the Universal monsters after so long, and it doesn't really get there for me. It falls short in every category just a little bit, and then it does the big dumb, werewolf versus werewolf CGI fight at the end, and I just go, why?
You know about the trouble production, right? Two
I do.
directors. And all that. So would you say that even if you didn't like it, it has to be better than what it could have been, right? Like it could have really been worse. Terrible.
You can always play that game, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't think it's the biggest embarrassment that Universal have ever put the monsters through. It's just, again, in the long history of slight disappointments for me. It
could have been worse.
It could have been. Is there any titles you guys think I missed on this gargantuan list of bad remakes?
I think
here's
Jamie wanted to
remake.
What about that?
Here's something really quick about The Wolfman. Like, so The Wolfman, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Like compared to something like The Right, where I walked out and I was like, I looked at my friend and I'm like, I'm sorry for taking you to see this movie.
That was disturbing, though. Well, like when Anthony Hopkins turns to that little girl and scares her, and doesn't he hit her? I was like, what? That was ballsy. That was super ballsy in these days and these times to have him hit a little girl like that.
Lauren, did you touch on Kimberly Pierce's stunning film of Carrie?
I did early. We talked about both the Carrie remakes, the 2002 and the 2013.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that
2013
she swears that she shot the book and that the studio took it away from her and cut it into the De Palma film, shot for shot. I don't know if I believe that, considering the script is literally the Larry Cohen script.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
It's probably somewhat true because the film does feel like a sort of a compromise thing, you know.
Well, almost everything coming out of Hollywood is a compromise at this point. That's part of my problem with American film at this point.
Yeah.
Well, it's been like that for about 20 years or more now, really, hasn't it?
Well, ever since the summer movie season became all year round. That's what did it.
Has anybody seen the literal remake of Cabin Fever reusing the Eli Roth script?
I haven't dropped a dime on it.
I don't even know. Is it even available? Like I've never even
It was on Shudder at one point, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think anyone bothered. I mean, if you like the original film, which I do, passively, why would you need another?
The same script.
Yeah, it had to be a trying to make money off a bad contract for the first film type of thing. That's the only reason I can say.
Okay, here's the ORC method. People dedicate or they have a huge hobby and love for film. Way more than TV, even though they might like TV as well. I go, hey, is this good? And they're like, fuck that. Or they're like, I don't want to dedicate the time or money or both. And I'm like, okay, hard pass. Delete from queue. That's how I basically do that.
Okay, so 41 bad remakes, and we had a little bit of disagreement here and there on them, but by and large, I think we had a lot of agreement. Why so many bad remakes and so concentrated from the year 2000 onward? What is going on here? What are we really talking about? Why do these films fail?
Lack of ideas.
Yep.
Lack of originality. And the wrong people are in.
They have miscast. Ton of miscast.
Too big a sort of, it's like the conference table type of thing, you know, let's get as many people hands on there.
Yeah, more like jack-offs, to be honest.
Here's a great example.
Yeah,
99 and 2003. Sorry to cut you off, James, but Saw and Blair Witch Project.
But they were actually, I think the Blair Witch Project was actually an original thing in many ways.
That's what I'm saying. Like Blair Witch was original, and then it made a bunch of shit with found footage. But Saw and James Wan, you know, when the dude gets up at the end, you're like, holy shit! Like he's been lying there the whole time. Regardless of what you think of the film, I think it's legit. The first one.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of impossible sometimes for them to try and copy these things, but then they sort of resort to just cast-offs, you know, and they can't make another Blair Witch, so we end up getting all these films now to do with phone, you know, apps and stuff, which is just like, they're not really that scary at the end of the day. I have watched them and do find them entertaining, some of them, but that's not really a horror film. That's kind of more just psychological or something a bit, or just.
I have one last thing to say. Going on,
they seem obsessed with dealing with modern culture too much.
Hell.
Hang on 1 second.
So I guess I'm wondering if it's the business model that has failed us, because now that films are so expensive and the risk is so high, they go for what's simple to market. Hey, you liked it the first time, so we're going to give it to you again. Won't you buy a ticket again? And add to that a certain mathematics that goes into these films. Like, well, we need one name star that's recognizable to this kind of an audience, whether they're right or wrong. They're going into the role. That's how you get your Tom Welling in The Fog, right? Is it just a combination of the business model has just failed these movies?
Well, you have to. I mean, first of all, what teenager is going? Oh, I like The Fog. I'm going to go see the remake of The Fog. Most of these remakes, except for the big ones like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, most of these remakes are so like they're titles that not even the teenagers have ever heard of. So they think they're seeing an original movie, and then everyone else.
That's what I thought with the Buddy Valentine remake. And when I found out it was a remake, I was like, shit.
I wanted to go off real quick what James was saying. I was getting bad feedback there, but like, imagine being a horror fan and let's say, so it's 2020 and you're 10 years old and your parents allow you to watch films, any horror film you want, like going back to what 1931 Dracula, going all the way up until now, if they even have the patience for that. Like, I mean, that's what I mean by lack of originality, and that's why I brought up Saw and the Blair Witch Project. I mean, that was 99 and 03. It's 2020. It's about to be 2021.
I know my neighbors wouldn't buy that Dracula stuff. Ugh.
But
they're not all on the age of 12.
There's an unstated other side of this mathematical problem, right? Which is that 41 remakes that failed to one degree or another. That means there was 41 originals that came out that were deserving many, many years later of being remade. So I don't buy this. There's no ideas left. They're just not going to the right people for the ideas.
The trouble now is they've gone into this kind of thing that Cameron mentioned to me before about gross out sort of comedy and then also gross out horror. It's all this sort of visceral thing, which is arguably not even funny to start off with, or not even scary. And so we basically end up with films that don't deal with the.
Go ahead.
They don't deal with the supernatural at all. Like before in the 70s and stuff, they had films like, Burnt Offerings and classics like The Sentinel by Michael Winter. I mean, I'm joking a bit, but we've just totally moved away from that kind of, the ghost film idea, or those 30s films did deal with that kind of ghostly apparition, like Dracula was appearing as a ghostly apparition. And I think they're okay for like, a 7-year-old to watch almost. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not every film has to be about somebody, being attacked. That's not really horror to me. That's more just like, stupidity on film, basically.
And it's kind of, agree with me if you will, but it's more the new stuff now. It's kind of like what's trending on social media.
I just
get.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I was just gonna say, I thought Hellfest was awesome.
Yay, we got there.
I want to say that. Oh my god, I've seen some images. I've seen Lauren's office or all kinds of Hellfest shit. And I'm just like, that's so fucking cool.
It is the best thing I've seen in a decade.
Okay, like I said before, I'm not gonna get into politics, but I love America, okay? And I got Irish blood in me. Okay? Hellfest is the shit, and it is a good American New Age slasher film. But Game Over shits all over that film. And
I don't think it's.
I know they're different. I don't
think it's. But you're in my sweet spot. I love both movies with a passion. Both of my top 10 films.
But which girl do you like more? There you go.
Oh well, that's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of thing I'm saying is it's not like slasher films or something, or the Final Girl films, like chainsaws, and that's a whole different barrel of fish or whatever. It's like now films have just become sort of a bit just churning them out brain dead a bit and not really dealing with anything very interesting. Like you only have to look at the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. It's like just basically we're supposed to be scared of him throwing the chainsaw at the screen. I mean, it's kind of very lowest common denominator, sort of just desperation, really.
That's that whole we get too familiar with the format of these long-running franchises, and there's nowhere to go with it. There's no mystery left to be had. There's nothing uncanny you can do with something that you're severely familiar with.
No.
The thing I loved about Hellfest, well, I loved everything about Hellfest, but the main thing I loved about Hellfest is it did not bother to explain itself. It gave you tantalizing glimpses, but it did not spend its entire time saying, hey, this is the megaphone, I'm going to scream through it. And yet it did so in a slasher film. The most obvious kind of horror filmmaking, but yet it managed to be lyrical and bright, and it felt like the Halloween season. It managed all those things that we used to love so much. The movie, Tobe Hooper's film, The Funhouse, is a great film. Now, it fails on a number of levels, but it feels like something, right? And that's where I feel like we're not getting films that actually feel like something. Game Over is simply a brilliant film, period, no matter the genre. That's the difference there. And Taapsee Pannu's performance in it, I think she did win the equivalent of an Oscar in India for it. Think about that. A horror film in India won their top acting honor.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
Why are we this far behind?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
That's what
Ready or
happened
Not?
for my life.
The Oscars committee
I
is
love
just
Ready
a
or
bunch
Not.
of idiots.
I love Ready or Not.
I haven't seen it.
I thought Ready or Not was decent, really. I mean, it was entertaining, and it didn't have a sort of, it wasn't trying to sort of just appeal to necessarily a slasher audience. It had something a bit more to it. I'm not saying it was, the greatest film ever made, but it was well done, and so.
Well, I think that we're all crying out for, I think, the same thing. When we talk about these remakes or we talk about later day sequels, when we say originality, what we're saying is we really want the filmmakers to make us feel something, as opposed to giving us a checklist of what they think we want because of what we bought last week, last year, a decade ago.
Right.
We want to have a genuine experience where we feel something. Why do people keep going back to The Shining? Why do people keep going back to the original Carrie?
For me, I'm 31.
Criminally.
I'm 31, right? For me, middle and high school was I'm gonna watch every English film. This is North America, UK, Australia, New Zealand. Any English film I can get my hands on. And then I'm going to watch every classic film. And then after that, I went, okay, let's go to High Tension. Let's go to, Let the Right One In. Let's go to Wreck. Let's go to, and then I just went through all the foreign films. And now I'm just like, all right, COVID, this sucks. But,
that's the real world is turned into more of a horror film than our horror films.
Yes, and everyone's like, wow, Contagion. I'm like,
I read the right one.
I think it is like, in terms of, like say Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you could make something quite a bit like that based on the whole COVID experience. It's sort of like, you've got to remember to put your mask on when you go in the shop, and it sort of makes you feel a bit kind of ill at ease when you're just doing very mundane sort of just trivial things, which which is uncanny in its own way.
Right.
Yeah, precisely.
When there's a vaccine that's good for like the flu that isn't just during flu season, it's going to be amazing to see what they actually do come up with and what films are actually worthwhile.
Anyone making out they're going to find a vaccine this year is just spouting nonsense. It's going to be like the middle of next year, I think.
I just hope it's by next summer.
Yeah, it probably will be, I think.
And then when will it be affordable is the bigger question.
Well, in this country, you would be able to get it on, our health service, and some people would probably get it free on most.
And in this country, it's what state you live in and what you do. That's,
well, I hope it works out good for you. That's all I can say.
No comment.
Well,
I'm sure it'll.
Before we go too deep down that rabbit hole, why don't you?
I was going to. Yeah.
In a moment, I'm going to give you all an opportunity to give your last words on remakes. Over the course of these 3 videos, we talked about remakes that have surpassed the originals, that have been on par, and those who have failed. And not all of you were on every video, but you didn't need to be, believe me, to attack this subject. So in a moment, I'm going to go one by one through you and give you a couple minutes to talk about how you feel overall about the remake trend. But first, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping here. I have an updated schedule for you guys about the show. On Monday, of course, I'll have Todd Kessling on at 8 p.m. On Thursday, we'll be doing a Tobe Hooper film panel discussion with some extremely valuable viewpoints from around the horror sphere. And then on Saturday, September 12th, we'll be doing another one of these shows, but without a theme. And that will probably get the channel completely taken off of YouTube. So that's what we have coming up on the channel. Very looking forward to this channel slowly going to a different direction coming out of the summer where I did guests 3 times a week.
Shit.
So what I'm looking forward to doing is maybe one guest a week, a community show, and then I'll of course be doing region free with my peers. So that's going to be the direction very shortly that this channel takes. So I hope you'll all be joining me for that ride. But in the meantime, Jamie, final word on remakes.
I'm tired of them. I want to see some original thought out there. Go into books, find things from books to make into movies, please, because books is where it's at. All the original stuff is going into books these days. So I
But
think
not Stephen King.
No, not Stephen King. I'm talking like Lauren, you know, or the girl that Lauren had on before there, I can't remember her name. V. Castro. I really liked her a lot. Take.
What do you mean you liked her a lot?
She means in every way.
She's a feminist in my lane of feminism. I like her.
Keep going.
You've bought every book of hers, right?
Not yet. I just want to see, originality. I want people to go in and get stories out of books instead of getting them out of, old movies. Just
out of the trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a good idea.
I'm tired of the cycle. I want the cycle to end. It's tiring. So,
Mr. Tarhill, your final thoughts on remakes?
Jamie's right on par. It's just like I'm sick and tired of it. Not just the horror, but all genres. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just I don't know. But Jamie, I agree with you 100%. It just needs to stop for a while.
Thanks, Joe Bob.
All right, Cameron, your final words on the remake.
Uh-oh.
Every time there's a remake announced, a bunch of people crap all over the idea, and then I have to read 1,000 comments saying, "But the Thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers," and I'm like, so we got about 3 or 4 really great ones, and the rest are either mediocre or terrible. So, I mean, I do think that it has slowed down. I think there's still remakes obviously happening, but it's not like every week there's one coming out anymore. It was like that ever since that Chainsaw Massacre that we talked about, Lauren. That just opened up the floodgates, and then it was like that's pretty much all we got were remakes for about 10 straight years. And then I'm pretty sure that Nightmare on Elm Street one kind of killed off the whole thing, only because people stopped going and they ran out of titles. But when there was a good one like My Bloody Valentine, which I do like, that one didn't get a sequel. But we got a bunch of other crappy films and the Friday 13th one I know we've talked about. But the reason why that one didn't have a sequel is because it literally would have had to have $150 million budget to make a profit, and there's no way you could have done that. Because that's what I was told. That if they had tried to go forward with a second one of those, it was going to cost $100 million, and then it would have to have grossed $200 million to make some serious money.
Jesus,
that's why they never made a sequel to it. So I don't know. I'm not happy when a remake is announced. If it's a lesser title, I can kind of get behind it. I think remakes should be specifically for films that were not perfect to begin with.
Dreamscape.
What?
The Dennis Quaid movie.
The Dennis Quaid movie from 1985. That
just random advertising throughout the.
That's what they could have been. We could have been.
Well, Wes Craven, I think, tried to take them to court over that movie because they read the script of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why he has. That's why he's got the knife fingers in the train car.
Oh God.
Yeah. So anyway, original films all the way, but the problem is original films go straight to Shudder now, and so it's all about IP now. All about IP.
James has a copy of Dreamscape.
Oh, speak of the devil.
That's just on my chair for you there. No one's ever seen my chair before.
I like that chair.
I love that movie. because it's so different.
Let's see, look at that. It's trying to be Indiana Jones, with that poster.
Yep. I'm surprised he didn't get sued by Spielberg.
Well,
Jeez.
that was Alan Quartermain in The City of Gold.
Dreamscape.
Is that on 4K, James?
No.
It's a Blu-ray.
Get your copy free at Action Park.
That's a consolation prize for the medical.
Has they got Jerry out of Twin Peaks?
But Lauren, real quick, I just got to ask you: when people throw out The Thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers as the go-to, like, look, all remakes aren't bad. I mean, wouldn't you say then they're the exception, not the rule?
So the difference is there wasn't a movement of making remakes when any of those films were made. It was made they were made for very legitimate reasons. And there's always been remakes. It's not something new. But when we saw this tidal wave of titles coming out, it just meant it became a business. And it really is the difference between a Ferrari and a Ford Pinto. If you make things fast and loose and you cut corners, you end up with an inferior product. And that's how I feel it is. It's not that you can't make great remakes. You absolutely could. They have to be developed. They have to be thought through. They have to have a sense of authorship to them. They can't be a committee. And then you have to care when you're making it. But that's getting into my thoughts. James, your final thoughts on remakes?
Well, I would say with remakes, they should be allowed to do them according to my laws that I'm imposing on Hollywood. But if the idea isn't verdant and rich with, possibilities, then perhaps, think about it, take a second thought and plan on it. Because, the audience are not actually stupid. People want to see something interesting. It's like in the 80s, we had The Fly, from Cronenberg. And obviously, it's quite different to the original, and it sort of brings something new to the table. It's sort of, and their special effects still hold up. It's pretty, quite.
Nasty.
That is a film that's visceral, but it actually makes you feel something, I would say. Just, I don't know, just sort of like get some good actors in these films rather than just basically a bunch of models.
Well said.
I don't really have anything to say about it other than that. I just think it's like obvious. It's sort of, don't try and copy something else. Just come up with an idea. I mean, sure, they say there's nothing, really original. But, if you just sort of go with ideas that seem decent, then it's bound to sort of end up being at least interesting to people. Like something like Ready or Not. It's not. I'm not saying it's like a perfect film necessarily. I mean, maybe some people would, but at the same time, it's like it sort of felt a bit new to me somehow within the sort of setting of an old house and all that kind of thing.
It's the moment I guess we've all been waiting for. Orc, your final thoughts on the remake?
I'm out.
Oh man, peace out. Joe Bob couldn't take the memes, so whether
he's actually still in the room. But
oh, he's back.
Does he have it? I have some kind of renovation or something.
Okay.
I don't mean what I said. Basically, when Orc says something, I'm like, I'm out.
Oh, you were doing that as a cut down to Orc.
We'll work on your approach, but the idea was good.
All right. So remakes. Yeah. So if it's something done well, in my opinion, like Evil Dead and like Evil Dead and like The Hills Have Eyes, I like those are really good ideas, and those are after 2000. So there you go. So I like remakes like that, but that's going off of what James said, and then from what Cameron said, if it's something like Jaws, which is the film I never wanted to get remade, I don't really give a shit anymore. So go for it. If it's good, it's good. Maybe it might be good. Fuck it. Who gives a shit at this point, dude?
If you could actually improve,
and then if people are like, oh well, we don't have enough money and all this shit. Well, that's true. A lot of people are struggling right now. But if you look at Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity, And then you look at stuff like Never Hike Alone, and then I watched parts of the Halloween fan film, and then you got Cameron with doing
a new film came out this week. It only cost $20,000. I mean, it's like, and it's got a lot of.
What is your fan film called? Annie something.
Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts. Oh my God.
It's called the Annie Blackburn Saga at this point.
It's called I couldn't even remember the title because I'm so stupid. Anyways, but if it's, I don't know, from fan film to indie with pretty much no money, that's an original, idea like I named with Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch Project. Or if it's a remake or it's just a completely new idea like Insidious or Conjuring or Saw, which are all one. What?
The Purge, even though it's off topic.
Dreamscape.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it can be done. It's just if there's a meme, there's a way. It's just finding it,
Thank you, Orc.
There you go. Yeah.
So my take on it is this: at the end of the day, when you go to your mailbox every day, when you walk out to your drive and you open the door and reach inside that aluminum casket to pull out whatever came that day, do you remember 25 years ago there would be a letter in there from a real person that they wrote, probably with a hand and a pen?
Yep.
When you do that today, you're not even excited to open that metal box anymore because it's just junk mail that's pre-addressed to resident.
Yeah, oh god, I get that all the time.
I feel like this is what has happened to the movie industry. The lack of authorship on everything has led us
a lot of your ideas, Lorne, you could make a film out of them. That one, call it, but not call it The Resident. That's already been made. So,
only good thing about opening the mail is packages. That's it.
The empty box.
The empty box. I'm not sure about that.
That would be the worst unboxing video ever.
Oh shit!
But
oh my god, what's in the box? Go look.
What's in the box?
But I feel
Nothing.
like
hopefully cherry pie.
We used to consume movies because we wanted to be taken places we'd never been before. We used to want to feel things that we didn't either have a safe way to feel in our lives or we just hadn't felt. We used to like to go places that we could never go. The James Bond films exist more to show us exotic locales than the actual action scenes. But somewhere along the lines, we started watching films for a different reason. We started watching them because they made us feel comfortable. And we started yelling at the screen that we only wanted to feel comfortable all the time. We started fetishizing certain titles like Things Behind Me. And we started to suggest to Hollywood to just give us more of the same because that's what we bought last time. We stopped wanting to explore the world through art and started just wanting the art world to reflect what we already believed, what we already thought.
Yeah,
and I'm going to tell you that we are as responsible as the filmmakers if we tolerate and if we buy those tickets.
We're building too much of a wall
between
ourselves and the uncanny.
Right.
I think we should embrace the uncanny and feel it.
In 2018, we were given a choice in October.
I don't know why Jamie's laughing. I'm actually being serious. When I'm being serious, she's laughing. So, yeah.
I laugh. I'm a 12-year-old girl inside, and I laughed because you said, "Okay."
I mean,
I'm a 33-year-old, and I still got the mind of a 12-year-old. Even though I feel like I'm a 60s.
I don't mean go down to the supermarket and start touching sausages or something.
I have the brain of a 12-year-old, but it's in a jar downstairs.
That is creepy and also hilarious. I like it.
I stole that from Charles Grant from the 60s. I mean, but I think though, like we were given an opportunity in October of 2018. Jamie actually referenced it. Most people do not go to see 2 horror films in the same month. I do, but most people don't. And they heard that there was this big comforting, hey, this is going to make me feel just like I was when I was 12 and I watched Halloween. And they were offered another film with a title they didn't recognize. And the box office receipts tell us that we're responsible for what's going on. Because Hellfest made his money back and made a little bit of cash, but not enough to justify anything more.
Exactly.
Halloween 2018 made a ton of money. has what I believe to be a deeply flawed film and promises to give us more of the same. And look, next year we're getting another Halloween, and the year after that we're getting another Halloween. Maybe you love those films.
Wait. I have to interrupt though, but for a few people, at least here in America and probably in Canada too, I had to go an hour to see Hellfest, and that just wasn't happening with my current situation.
I understand.
So that's why I was just like, yeah. So, but and then
I understand, but we have to take at some point have to take ownership of the fact that our money directs the film business. So all I can say is, please, people, when you're given the chance of seeing Halloween and a Hellfest, it's Hellfest.
Oh,
that is your answer.
What was the
Every
Indian
day.
horror film?
I would see them
as well?
both.
Sorry.
Plug it.
The Indian horror film was called Game Over.
Game Over, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Thank
No
you.
problem. In the meantime, everyone, I want to thank you for being on the panel, and I want to thank everyone who was on all the panels in the series. We're going to do more community shows, both with and without themes. But at this point, we're going on our 4th hour in 10 minutes, so it's time to say goodnight.
Wait, James, have you seen Game Over yet?
No.
Oh, you are in for a treat. I'm not going to be like, oh, you haven't seen that or you haven't
Okay.
played that, like one of those guys with a
yeah,
gamer
for good
movie.
things
But
about that.
oh man,
Well, I
you're all in for a
appreciate the
treat.
recommendation,
Oh,
definitely. Yeah.
oh man,
It is
Okay.
it is definitely available worldwide on Netflix. You have to search for it, but it's there. Anyway,
Well, it's
thank
easy
you
enough.
all for watching. Thank you for the participants. And even if you don't take my advice, and even if you just watch Halloween 2018 5 more times, keep watching the movies, guys. Thanks. Be good.
Thank you, Lord.
They make movies look bad.
What, where should I start? What I saw this movie.